so preposterous that you're left with no choice but to laugh. But in there somewhere is the compromise to the competition. Think about the teams who are involved in this. So Melbourne are desperately fighting for top place on the ladder. Sydney are trying to win a place in the top 4 from Port Adelaide, who currently occupy it. The Brisbane Lions are tooth and nail. And Essendon are trying to grab 8th place. So all of the teams tied up in this one way or another, either on planes or not on planes, trying to get out. Where are they going to... There are high stakes for them.
Oh, absolutely. And you don't know. I think all of them probably go in right now with the same sort of issues. Melbourne, you say, okay, they've travelled a little bit more, so not as good. Brisbane were probably expecting to go anyway, so that's fine. That was just a small disruption from them. But it's nothing major yet. It's just when it gets to the point where we have to keep changing fixturing, that's going to get the real... Those sorts of things will come up.
So, and in there, like, we clearly should have Monday night footy this week. So who should play tomorrow? So if Melbourne have been through all of this, maybe they should be Monday night instead of being made to play tomorrow. So who's been inconvenienced the most? Well, that's obviously Melbourne at this stage. So maybe you give them the extra 24 hours and so you play Monday night against the Suns.
Yeah, that would be you think that would be the logical thing to do, given the fact that the extra travel they've had to have, and it gives them that extra day to sort of prepare a little bit.
There's so many scenarios, though, Jared. Thank goodness they kept the pre-finals bye, which there was a call to perhaps, shut the season down a period of time ago, and the Alpha said, no, we're hanging on to our get-out-of-jail-free card. That has just quadrupled in value if you play a Monopoly at the moment, which the AFL's navigating. You never give up the get-out-of-jail-free card.
Well, it's only $50 to get out-of-jail-free card. I'd actually get rid of
5,000 now.
I think Mayfair is much more important. You'd never sell that. And also, if you're going...
It's more of a pell-mell, man.
Well, you go the maroon colour and the orange colour. That is the key to winning Monopoly, not the get-out-of-jail-free. That's my opinion.
Adelaide have run out onto Mars Stadium down in Ballarat, so the warm-ups to begin. For Ream, ask your plumber to install a Ream Steady, Hot and Strong BP.
Indeed, Jared, and a little shout-out, of course, Dave Birch from Dave Birch Tiling is the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club Tiler of the Month and chose the team at Beaumont's Bendigo to help him out. Do you know what else Beaumont's are doing to help out their trade club members? Well, if you're a tiler, Beaumont's has over 110 stores with the best range of RLA glues, grouts and waterproofing, and you can win 25 grand's worth. So just jump on to iCanWin.com.au for more information. A little shout out too for Ringers Western. Ringers Western clothing looks magnificent in the city and it toughs it out on the land. And you can, of course, join in the conversation on AFL Nation on Twitter right throughout the afternoon. All your feedback for Summit Internet, faster business internet. Leper, as we start to drill down on this match, conditions look okay in Ballarat. We're expecting maybe a little bit of rain throughout the afternoon, but some unmissable moments, Leper, for Drink-Wise today. You won't miss a moment if you drink-wise.
Well, I put my clairvoyant hat on today. I think it might be Josh Shackey having another great game in defence, Jared. I know you were off him for a big while there and weren't on his favourite players, but obviously he's the boy I recruited a very, very long time ago, so maybe I'm a little emotionally invested in him, but I hope he does well, and this is a kickstart of a career for him.
Yep, very good last week, so he comes in to fill the breach of Alex Keith, and the two ends are what we're keeping an eye on. We know what the midfield are going to bring for the Bulldogs, but it's that back end, how Shackey can blend in there, and then, of course, another week of seeing Bruce and Norton and Jamara Ugle-Hagen.
Yeah, and that's really good too. And it's exciting to see Jamara, a bit quieter last week, Jamara, but his natural progression. And which one of these boys, the Doggies are one team with their keys. You're unsure what it's going to look like in the end. And the one thing, how long's Alex Keith going to be out for, and who does they give opportunity for? So, yeah, it's a very interesting watch this space time. If you're a Doggy supporter, Josh Dunkley, obviously a really important player for him back in, and Easton Wood. I mean, there's some amazing inclusions as well for them. So,
and still some pretty good players to come back in over the next few weeks for the Dogs. Weather update for Fujitsu, Australia's favourite air. Well, the sun is out at the moment. Chilly 14 degrees. We might get a bit of rain, and it's been fairly windy throughout the day, which always affects the game in Ballarat. But Leopard, match up these two teams and how this one's going to play out. I mean, the Dogs to keep top spot, and we know the Crows this year. It'd be extraordinary, isn't it? If they got to year's end, having knocked off Geelong, Melbourne and the Dogs, that would be some sort of fillet in their cap to take into next year. It would be at those two games, those wins were at the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be a real challenge, I think, for Adelaide today. And the big part of it for me is just the scores from turnover. if you look at just this game as a differential, Adelaide are the worst team in the competition at scoring from a turnover sense compared to their opposition, and the Doggies are right up there near the top. So to me, that's the worry. That's the number that's going to hurt me. Can Adelaide, or can they defend Western Bulldogs on turnover, and also can they start to get some run and carry and some excitement back into their game? They're very much reliant on their stoppages as a unit, but the problem is today, they're playing the Western Bulldogs. They're the best score from stoppage team in the competition. So the one part of the Adelaide game, which is about 9th, 10th, mid-pack in the competitions, their scores from stoppage. And they're coming up against the best team at that. So when you look at this game from a numbers perspective, it's hard to see where they're going to get their advantage from.
No doubt.
BP, I've been sweating on the Kennett letter for 24 hours.
Okay.
Which I'm told is just going out to Hawthorn members at the moment. So if you happen to get it first and you want to ping it through to us, I'd love to. I've got the over-under at 3.5 pages, and I'm on the overs side of it. I can't wait to.
I'm on letter watch.
If it lobs, I'm going to be reading. You'll have to call, but I'm going to be so deep in Jeff's thoughts. I just can't wait to read how he frames it. Sam, what have you got?
The latest on the COVID front. So Melbourne are doing a U-turn. So they're coming back. They just had a nice little scenic look at Brisbane Airport. They're not going to Perth. They're certainly not staying there. They're coming back to Melbourne. There's a determination from the AFL to get all the teams in Queensland at the moment out and down to Melbourne by 4 o'clock. Now, as you speculated on earlier, Jared, there is a chance we have something of a Super Sunday down here with these 3 games that were due to take place in Queensland relocated to Melbourne. They are Suns D's, Bombers Swans, and GWS and Port Adelaide. There are so many contingency plans at the moment, but what I can tell you is there's an absolute determination to preserve the pre-finals bye as a bye. The AFL at this point do not want to encroach in any way, shape or form on that bye. So they don't want 3 teams to have to play in that bye period, 4 teams to play in that bye period and everyone else have a week off. They want to try to preserve the fairness of that bye weekend. They want everyone to have that weekend off. They don't want to encroach on that in any way, shape or form. And they say there's other ways. If it's not Sunday for these postponed games, there's other ways to make it happen.
And because there's no crowds, there are no barriers other than getting teams here. So you could play... Midweek. You could actually play 3 in a row at Marvel. So I think there'll be a double header at Marvel tomorrow by the looks of things. But you could certainly play Monday night. We're in a phase as round 20 and round 21 have no crowds here in Victoria. So this is as flexible as you could possibly be. So it's just a matter of getting the right people on the right planes to get out before 4 o'clock.
That's it. And then we wait to see what happens then. And who knows, this is where we sit as of 12:15 Eastern time at the moment. Who knows where we sit at even 3:15 Eastern time, Jared?
Hi there, Hawkers. Well, to say it's been a busy week is, of course, an understatement. So let me fill you in as fully but as succinctly as possible. As you know, we had all hoped and publicly expressed that discussions between Hawthorn and our senior coach would not take place until the end of the year. Some weeks ago, Alistair asked that the matter be brought forwards. Out of respect to him, we did so. That meant the board had to consider the position of Hawthorn's senior coach beyond 2022. Alistair has been our most successful coach who, with an extraordinary group of players, won us 4 premierships. But the board had to consider what was best for the club for the decade beyond 2020. After much discussion and acknowledging that Alistair would have been in the same job for 18 years by the end of next season and unlikely to be the solution for the next decade, we decided that a change of senior coach was inevitable. Having made that decision, we also thought it was better to inform the coach up front so he could have maximum flexibility in considering his future. That is, seeing out his time with us at Hawthorn or accepting an appointment at another club. We thought the concept of the master, Alistair, and the pupil, Sam, would work. Sadly, it did not work out as we had hoped. On Tuesday evening, the coach expressed the view that he felt the club would be better served if he handed over to Sam at season's end. After further discussion, we agreed. Clarko will leave the coaching role with the respect he has earned and deserved, but he is not leaving just yet and will continue coaching Hawthorn until the end of the season. Further, just as Coach John Kennedy Sr.'s influence has long lingered at Hawthorn, we hope that Clarko's will do the same. So Sam Mitchell has been given the same opportunity Alistair was given in 2004. If they ring the opening siren, BP, you just interrupt because succinct isn't Jeff's long suit. As assistant coach, a former player, trained for a senior position, ready and excited to prove himself, Alistair was 36 years of age at the time of his appointment. Sam will be 39 years of age. Sam is ready and primed. Sam will be fully supported by the board, the players, and I am sure the membership. He has already earned an incredible reputation at Hawthorn and beyond. Sam played 307 games for the Hawks. We hoped from the end of this season, Sam will be our coach for the next decade, and we fully expect he and our players will develop into the Hawthorn machine that will deliver our next piece of silverware. Change is not always easy, but standing still can often have your opponents leave you behind. We have all seen glimpses on the field of the good things that lie ahead for us. No, we've not won many games, but we are giving our players of the future the games they need to develop. They have been assisted by some wonderfully experienced players who themselves are premiership players with years under their belts. Yes, we have encountered some choppy waters recently and might the next few days, but we remain focused on what is in the best interests of the club. That was the reason Alistair made the concession today. The club is more important than any of us. The club will continue as personalities change. It is the club that binds us all. Alistair, me, Sam, the board, players, and we do it for all our members. And to that end, you Hawkers, wherever you reside, you have stuck with us through almost 2 years of life-altering COVID. In fact, our membership numbers grew over last year's results. So, one other matter briefly. On Sunday, we play Brisbane in Launceston. The week after, Collingwood. The week after, the Western Bulldogs. 3 games in a row in Tassie. Never before has that been achieved. 7 games in total in the Apple Isle. We are grateful for the opportunity to play some of the best supported games in the home of our major sponsor, Tasmania, and give our many Tasmanian members more opportunities to watch us play than ever before. Thank you for taking the time to read this letter. Stay safe, get vaccinated, and go Hawks. Jeff Kennett.
So he says Sam Mitchell just signed a 10-year deal. Is that what he's saying? I wish the Lions gave me that one a few years ago. I'd be still there enjoying the good times. Well, it's interesting. They think that they're standing still by not keeping Clarko, which is an interesting choice of words.
All right, so we're just about ready, BP, for what is about to unfold. The opening bounce will be for Tyre Power, awarded CanStar Blue's most satisfied customers again.
All right, we're going to get into the footy. I can tell you Rory Sloane, Jared, won the toss. They will kick with the breeze. The Adelaide Crows in the opening quarter. It's going to be O'Brien up against English. And O'Brien lays the tackle quickly on Bontempelli. So ball stops in the middle. Just the 2 subs. Pat Lipinski for the Bulldogs and David McKay will be the sub for the Crows this afternoon. So Laird over the footy. Here comes Bailey Dale through the traffic nicely. Extracted it. They spread it to the wing to Lockie Hunter on his left side here for the Bulldogs, who can send them to the shallow part of the 50. Down towards Norton. Butts was there for the spoil. Waitman was there for the crumb. Grubs one in the Hannon direction. Duday repels that. And the Crows will get a clearing kick. It's a high ball. English will stand underneath it. Tries to thump it back in the Bulldogs' direction. Shark by Laird, who worked it to McHenry. He's got Sloane on the outside. And the Crows through the sunshine early doors here in Ballarat. It might get a little willing later on. He goes to McHenry, short to Fogarty, who takes the mark here at half forward.
So the Crows attack first. Fogarty has a look at the deep targets at a vacant Mars Stadium.
Oh, if anyone can kick it, it's probably this man, isn't he? He's a massive kick at the football. Josh Shackey going to Darcy Fogarty for the match-up today.
Indeed. So Fogarty on a tight angle here at right half forward. He'll kick from just inside the boundary line, 52 metres from home. A little bit of left to right. It almost gets the journey. It was a sweet kick off the boot. English puts it through for a rush behind. On the Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts, the Crows one behind the Bulldogs. Yet to score early doors. Justin Lepich with us, of course, all thanks to Car Sales, everything you ought to know.
Caleb Daniel departs the goal square on the kick in. He has a bounce into the back pocket. It takes the best of the territory that's on offer. Bruce is in that pack for the Dogs. Bailey Smith underneath. He bumbled to kick up the wing momentarily. Bruce did well to knock it to Waitman, and he was able to get it away to McRae. So the Dogs come forward, low down. Norton couldn't quite handle it. It fell from his grasp. Laird on the tidy up, gave it to Jones for the Crows, but they have lost it. Liberatore wins it back for the Dogs to Bailey Smith. Brought it into Dale, who's confronted and dispossessed by Lynch. That will be holding the ball.
Great start by the Crows. Pressure up really high and winning the contested ball.
Yeah, Lynch did nicely away to McPherson. Long ball inside forward 50. It's a Himmelberg mark who outmarks Cordy in that one-on-one. So Himmelberg to have a shot here from 35. He can come around and open up the angle a little bit on that right boot. And the Crows kicking with the breeze in this opening quarter, which is a pretty stiff breeze as we saw the last time we played footy in Ballarat about a month ago. Gets nice curl on that, and a good start here for the Crows. Elliot Himmelberg with the Crows first, 117. The Dogs yet to score for tyre power. 3 votes. Best buys, Big Brand Sale Leper.
Yeah, it was a great kick for goal, wasn't it? Very difficult breeze, isn't it? It's not just going to Adelaide's end, but it's a very tricky type of breeze. But a great work from Adelaide again. Pressure creates the midfield turnover. It's the one part of the game we're a bit worried about. Will they win the turnover battle? And this has been a bit of a slide on the Dogs. If there's one part of their game, is just their one-on-one contest wins in their defensive 50, and Adelaide get the early one. So watch for that as the game progresses.
That's a terrific snap.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It killed really late.
And sharp. Great control from Elliot Himmelberg to get that through. So the Crows have jumped the Dogs early. 117-0 for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. English against O'Brien in the ruck. High ball to go after. O'Brien tapped it down onto the head of English. It fell the way of McRae and Bontempelli, who just forged a path through where there was none. Hand passed out near Hunter. Kept off it initially. Liberatore fights away underneath. He's in 2 tackles. It's Laird who gets hold of it for the Crows, but it's straight up and down the mine shaft. Elliott tried to knock it to the advantage of Keys, but English was having none of it. He worked it away to Daniel. The Dogs will attack from the near wing. Hand pass to Dale, kick in the Bruce direction. He hit the pack, came down empty-handed. Waitman brought down as he lurked up front. It'll be balled up, 40 out from the Dogs' goal.
Plays an interesting game, Waitman. He almost plays like a key forward as a small, where he likes to go for his marks instead of more that natural crumbing type.
It bobbles around after the ruck contest. Laird squeezed the kick, but he kicked it straight to Bailey Smith, who wheeled out onto the right boot, set it to the teeth of goal. It's well killed by Nick Murray in defence for the Crows. And it is a rush behind to the Dogs. 1-7-1 behind. Adelaide lead it on the Tyre Power scoreboard. Your trusted tyre experts.
So opening stages as Duday brings it back into play. It's a thumping kick with the breeze right up the middle of the ground. They'll get over the back here. The Crows, Himmelberg quickly to half forward. Murphy now to Lynch. He's going to kick on the outside of his boot in the end. Whale from Walker, but it's rolled through for a goal as Tex was calling for it. Outside of the boot kick. Quick transition from full back by the Adelaide Crows. Up the middle they went. They're off to a fly here. 2-1-13. The Dogs one behind for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Well, the aggressive kick up the middle, we see it all too often, and sometimes it can almost stun the opposition when you kick your first kick in and you belt it up the middle and gets over the back. So a great strategy if you're from the Adelaide Crows coaching box, but often what happens after this is the team then prepares for it and gets those extra numbers by the ball. But a terrific start by Adelaide. They look up and about. Energy looks high.
They couldn't ask for anything more away from home on a chilly afternoon with nobody in attendance. 2-1-13 to a behind. AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks. And Tom Lynch, his future is the subject of much discussion at the moment, his future. Bontempelli roves the ruck duel and he got taken high by Keys. He shuttles the hand pass off to English, who's on the break. He kicks inside 50 and Ugelhagen on the leads with his lovely soft hands takes the mark.
Yeah, Keys is tagging the Bont today, so big job for Benny Keys. Obviously, Bont's the informed player in the competition. Always difficult, though, when you're tagging good players and you can give away free kicks easily around the stoppage, which is what he did then.
Jamara Ugelhagen left of centre off the side of the boot and out of bounds on the full. Never threatened to score. The boundary update for Spitwater, that's what it does.
So Duday to bring it back in for the Crows. He'll penetrate that one outside defensive 50. Walker got underneath it and Shackey took a comfortable mark in the end to send the Dogs back forward. And played in defence. Had a great role against the D's last week. Holds up in the breeze. Bruce there. Murray with the spoil. Libba gets to the front of the pack. He can straighten up Liberatore on the left boot and he drills it home. And the Dogs get on the board at Mars Stadium. 117, the Crows 2-1-13 for tyre power, your trusted tyre experts.
Yeah, it was a great long down the line setup. If you're a Doggy supporter, they got the numbers to the front of the contest. Adelaide Crows just gave up the corridor way too easy on that defensive play. They all got rushed into the ball, which created space for the Crummer to break into. And this time it was Libba. He was the man that not only won the ball, but finished his own work with a great spread. So good start there by Libba.
Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Kaylee McEwen has just been presented with her second gold medal of these Tokyo Games. She completed the 100-200 backstroke double with a thrilling final 50 metres. And Emily Seabom stood on the podium with her. She's received a bronze medal at her 4th Olympic Games. Gold number 10 in Tokyo for Australia. There's a medley relay, a mixed medley relay to come, where Australia must feature in the chances. Out of the middle, Dunkley had his first touch on return as he towed a ball forward. It didn't amount to much, and in fact it's going to come back as a Crows free kick. So they'll play out the far side through Murphy, out near Keys. He sells the dummy and works his way around Dunkley and looks to land at 30 out from goal, but the Dogs were well shaped for it, and Shackey takes the intercept mark.
Good start by Shackey, 2 intercept marks early in the game.
Reborn as a defender these 2 weeks. Short on the way out to English. English looks inboard. Williams takes the mark. It wasn't 15. Back to English in a hurry. He's going to have to give a bit of ground with his hand pass to Shackey. So back where it started. He gets under his kick on the way out. It's a high ball against the boundary. And Rourke Smith has to go the spoil up into the terraces. So throw it in at left half forward for the Crows. There's 14 and a half minutes remaining in the opening term on the Makita rule, the outdoors clock, and it's the Crows by 6.
So English and O'Brien to lock horns again. Going to be a great battle this one all day. O'Brien, little double palm down. Keys at the bottom of the pack. He whipped a handball out. Dunkley, Sharon didn't quite sit for him. He was able to put it in the path of Bailey Smith, who hugs the boundary line with the kick. Norton comes to meet it. Murray gets back in his path. Back in after a week out with concussion. Took it nicely too. Long ball, just a little off with the radar though. And a bounce on the full. Free kick to Bailey Williams at half back here for the Dogs.
It's going to be a difficult day to get the ball from one end to the other. There's no doubt about it. It's a really windy day, and I'd see a few out in the fulls as well, I reckon, BP, as this game goes on.
Yeah, I think I did the last game. Was it Giants and the Gold Coast? I think we had a record number of out of bounds on the full about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Long ball up the line. Butts with a big spoil here for the Crows. Bailey Smith was in a good spot. Gives it across to Rourke Smith. Got a little passage in front of him. Lowers the eyes to the 50 on the stretch. Bruce couldn't quite reel it in. Beautifully taken by Duday. Away to Seedsman, clean off half-back the Crows, puts in the path for Murphy to run onto it, but Bailey Williams was in his path. Ball ricochets around. Smith and Williams. Now a little task for Scott. Back to Bailey Williams, provided the run off half-back. Long ball towards the square. One out Norton. He's gone to ground. Is there a free kick paid? No. And it'll be Smith that takes it through for a rush behind for the Dogs. 1-2-8. The Crows 2-1-13 for tyre power. Your trusted tyre experts.
Looks to me like Seedsman's wearing 2 jumpers. He's wearing the long sleeve underneath and the sleeveless.
There could be another layer underneath. He wears a lot of layers.
Well, he did the Jake McManus. He did that in 1995 Brisbane Bears, so I haven't seen it since, Jared.
Crows send the kick in long to the wing, so that's clearly where the breeze is blowing. It favours them. Rowe brought it up forward, but Shackey again in front of Tex. That's 3 Leper.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? Great intercept marking. Good start to his backline career.
That was quite the ride on the kick in, which gives us the first indication as to how strong the breeze is blowing. Shackey's, it sits up a little the other way. It reaches the wing, but only momentarily. Duday flopped it forward. Not a great kick, but not adequately dealt with by Eastonwood. Taken away by Keys. And Rowe got it from Berry, and he spent it well. And the mark is taken by Lachlan Murphy, who can go back and take the shot.
Just really good in the contest again. Benny Keys, good hands out, really crisp in difficult conditions from the Crows, but they've got their composure early in this game.
I imagine it's a 2 or 3 goal wind, the way the ball is flying, so the Crows looking to maximise that in the opening term. Lockie Murphy takes his shot at the left-hand post and watches it fade away through for a behind. Crows by 6 for Tyre Power. 3 votes. Best Buyers, big brand sale.
You don't want to waste your time when you've got the breeze, do you? You don't want to be kicking a 2-goal 6 quarter or anything like that.
Bailey Dale, beautifully measured kick from the kick-in found Dunkley at half-back as that ball was drifting with the breeze to the boundary. Tough one down low for Liberatore. Back to Dunkley, flicked it, works along the boundary line. Nice little sidestep. Bailey Williams shrugged off the tackle. Dogs trying to link up, dealt with, and the advantage paid. It was Dunkley, the free kick going to, and the advantage paid to Bailey Smith. Inside 50 with a kick, front position for Brodie Smith. On that occasion, takes the mark and holds up the Dogs. 2-2-14 Adelaide. 1-2-8 the Western Bulldogs. Bailey Smith 6 touches early, running hot for Ream. Installer Ream, Australia's favourite. Into the middle they go, the Crows. Kicked forward by Hamill. It's one out at the back. Walker, Shacky, and a little toe poke off the ground there for the Crows. Murphy should have drilled that one.
Oh, he needs 2 easy handball options over the top in the goal as well, Lockie Murphy. It's a really bad decision.
Yeah, they lead by 7 and it should be more. The kick in finds Shacky. The Dogs play the far side wing. Marked by Johannisen and immediately he takes off. He's had 2 bounces. He's got pace on Seedsman and he gets a Shepherd as well for a 3rd bounce. Johannisen sets them up deep. Williams flew over the top of Bruce. There was nobody down though. Kelly received the hand pass and he guides the Crows out well to Keys. Back edge of the centre square, determined to play direct to Rowe. On the near side is Berry. He's going a little longer to Lynch, who presents, and he had it chopped away late by Scott of the Dogs. So Lynch feeds the hand pass instantaneously to McPherson, who absolutely unloads at the goal front, but he left it a yard short. And Bailey Dale is goaltending for the Dogs. It stays the Crows by 7 for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
They're using the corridor well, the Crows, through their transition. They're just not finishing off their good work inside 50.
Johannisen clears. It'll be coming back, though. Seedsman takes the mark. Nick Beveridge down the boundary line, coaching in this opening quarter. Seedsman with that thumping right boot right towards the top of the square. It's Walker territory. Rowe trying to run onto the footy. Berry there is a small as well, but Liberatore will hold up the Crows. He gives it to Johannisen, who flares it wide. Beautifully weighted kick here for Garcia. He wants to move it on quickly to Ugle-Hagan. The Dogs with a little bit of room to move here. Lays off the handball to the running Bailey Smith. His 7th touch in this opening term, and he spots up Waitman inside the 50. He just wants to make the angle a little bit better. He can go over the top to Bruce, who will be able to come around on that left side and open up the angle.
Yeah, good sharp transition by the Dogs. Good use of hands on the way through as well and get a nice, easy, uncontested mark inside 50.
So Josh Bruce, his conversion rate has been terrific this year. 43 goals, 18. Is to cut the margin back to a point. He's kicked plenty of these across his career. A couple of steps out to the left, and he drills it through the middle. The Dogs get their second, 2-2-14. The Crows, 2-3-15 for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
There's a really good transition. We said it's going to be difficult today to actually get from one end to the other, but it was a great play by short hands and short passes all the way through. I guess that takes the breeze out of the equation when you're able to do that. It's funny old breeze. It's not like it's a real direct breeze to one end. It's kind of swirling a little, so it's not like the Dogs are getting a massive disadvantage at one end. And a couple of times it's actually pulled up short on the goal line down the other. So it may not have as bigger influence as we think on the game.
Crows by a point. The inside 50s running 8 apiece in the early stages for safety steel sheds. The Crows have certainly had the deep entries near the goal square, but they don't have all that they might from it. Tex patrolling the goal square has got Cordy for company now. Back in the middle of the ground, O'Brien wins the tap. He was after the footy, but McRae beat him to it. He was taken down in the 2-man tackle. Laird one way, O'Brien the other, and the Crows win holding the ball. O'Brien used it a little too quickly, and Schoenberg got caught with the footy. They might have mucked this up. Just before O'Brien got his kick away in the middle of the ground, there's a whistle, but it is going to be a Crows free kick. So they'll get a fresh look with a set play as Laird comes up with the paint from the centre circle all over him. Luke Beveridge patrolling wildly down on the boundary for Spitwater. That's what it does. Laird goes deep inside. Walker flew the pack, dropped the mark on the way down. Fighting hard for it was McInerney. Fed it out to Himmelberg. Brodie Smith drifted forward. Not enough penetration on the kick. It pitched in the pocket and bounced away from Seedsman. Throw it in. 10 around from the behind post. Crows in attack, leading by a point.
Yeah, they've had a couple of ground level opportunities, the Crows, inside their forward 50. They've just mucked them up, but they're getting the ball in their hands, so there's some opportunity there for them.
Walker to do the ruck work against Cordy. Tex cleared the way. Rowe at the back. Ghosted through. Snapped it high and kicked the goal. The Crows get their third. And they bump it back to a 7-point lead. 3-3-21 to the Bulldogs. 2-2-14 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Well, there's the ground level opportunity. We just spoke about it, and they've had a few opportunities at the ground just close to goal, and they've mucked them up, and Rowe didn't on that occasion. Poor, sloppy defensive work by the Western Bulldogs forwards. Bailey Smith on that occasion, just letting Rowe through the pack unopposed and got an easy snapshot on goal.
Yeah, brought back into the team, of course, for the Crows this week. Kicked a few in the scratch match last week, and certainly a day where the Smalls can play their part in these tricky conditions in Ballarat. So Crows out by 7. Very encouraging start after their win against the Hawks last week. Luke Beveridge back coaching in the box after, as Jared said, just patrolling the boundary for the opening 10 or 12 minutes. Bailey Smith at the foot of the footy here. English stripped of the footy by Laird, still inside the centre circle. Eventually Bailey Smith does extract it for the Bulldogs and kicks into open space. Wakeman almost made the ground. He copped a little bit of high contact from Jones. He's quick to go. Little daisy cutter inside. Tough half volley for Norton. Johannesson, 40 metres out. His handball was cut off. Duday able to repel. Sends it out of defensive 50 in the Himmelberg direction. McHenry, strong on Scott. He was still able to lay that handball off to Caleb Daniel. Away to Dunkley. Kick towards Norton, who hit the pack hard. McRae at the drop. Dogs queue up here at half forward. Garcia just trying to trap the foot. He did nicely in the end. Now the kick inside forward 50. Coming hard, Hannon and backing back Johannesson mucked each other up in the end. Lockie Hunter on his left side, still a chance on a sharp angle. Curls are back, only 10 metres out from goal. There's some high contact. It will go the Crows' way to be taken by the two jumper man in Paul Seedsman.
I wonder if they're both 11s. I presume they are. So Seedsman used it short on the way out, as Johannesson is the worse for wear after getting cleaned up by his teammate. So a little bit of treatment for him. For Spitwater High Pressure Cleaners, tools not toys, Aussie Tough. Jones placed the ball outside the defensive 50 for the Crows, who will look to pilot a course down the outer wing. High ball, Walker cannoned in to Williams when he had no realistic play at the ball. He'll concede a 50-metre penalty. He's a fraction lucky that didn't end up worse.
Texas arguing the point, but it was very late, wasn't it? And he didn't really look like he had a play on the ball. He's really defending himself and putting his arm up, which I think looks on the tape definitely is a 50-metre penalty.
Emma McKeon's just broken the Olympic record in the 50 metres freestyle. She did it in the heats. She's done it again in the semis. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. As a result of the 50-metre penalty, Bailey Williams from 48 out. He's given it his best possible ride, and Jamara with the fly near the top of the square. Ugle-Hagan takes the mark, and he can go back close in and bring the Dogs within a point.
We just love watching this guy grow in front of us. You know, it's taken a while for him to get into the team, but, geez, he's a good player.
Ugle-Hagan opens up the angle and screws it through for a goal. So the Dogs chip away at the Crows against the Breeze in the opening term. 3-2-20 to Adelaide, 3-3-21. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's really good work there by the Western Bulldogs front half turnover. It's just really unnecessary by Tex Hawker, though, just getting in the back there and causing a 50-metre penalty, which put the pressure on the Crows' defence. So it's really sloppy by Tex. You know, he didn't think he did anything wrong, but just have to come in with a bit better technique than that. Great finish by Jamara. Great. You can't give him a run at the ball, I reckon, with Jamara. It's the one thing I think if you're the Adelaide Crows you want to stop is that athletic ability and gets an unimpeded run.
Yeah, once he's got that front spot, Lepper. Got the strong hands, marking it at its highest point, 3-3-21. The Crows, Dogs 3-2-20. Bailey Smith already with the 9 disposals. Brodie Smith has had the 6 for the Crows on the safety steel shed stat sheet. So a good game of footy here. 6 goals in the opening quarter. Himmelberg takes the ruck, wins it down to Sloan, and his handball cut off by Bontempelli. Back into the hands of Himmelberg, who flicked it to Sloan. Keys tackled immediately, able to squeeze a kick. Lynch looking for the fast-running leg coming past, and he was not able to take it cleanly. Here's the polish Caleb Daniel off half-back, who sets it up for Anthony Scott, who tumbles one towards half-forward. Tough for Bruce, he's got 2 to beat. Waitman front of the pack where he normally is. Liberatore flicks it on by hand. He just missed Garcia, though. And the Crows not out of trouble here. Errant handball. Nicely done, Rorke Smith. Good little sidestep towards the goal square. Bruce flew and he hung on to it. Great mark in the goal square from Josh Bruce. He had a nice ride and he'll kick from directly in front. They worked it beautifully, the Dogs. Surging it forward. Josh Bruce with a regulation finish in front of goal here, and the Dogs land their 4th. And they take the lead. He's kicked 2. 4-2-26. The Crows 3-3-21 for Tyre Power. Of course, 3 votes. Best Buys, big brand sale.
Lepper in your notes. That's going to be the hanger of the day. Hangmytv.com.au, because that's what they do.
Oh, that was a great grab, really, right on the goal line too. It's not many times we've seen Mark of the Year taken, and we actually get to use the goal line cam
yes,
as the best piece of evidence. So terrific. And
the old days are deep forward.
Jay Kelly just using as a step ladder, just like his old man did really well for the Pies back in the day. Hey Ned, out there, but it's again a great transition from the Doggies from back half. And we're a bit worried about their keys in the front part of the ground, but that's 2 marks. That was easy marks. 2 contested marks taken in the last 2 minutes from them. So great start, great early start from the Doggies keys.
AFL Nation for Victoria Police apply now. 5-point lead for the Dogs. They are in front for the first time. English down to Liberatore. Fires it out of the middle. A bump ball inside the 50. Waitman knocked it to the advantage of Bontempelli, who spread the hand pass wide. Rorke Smith dribbled the kick inside the 50. Not his best effort. Set Garcia a task. He had to fight away, see it out of bounds, and then push Hamill in the aftermath. He's just a fraction lucky not to give away a free kick. 4 minutes 57 to play on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock in this opening term. Dogs by 5. They have it in attack. Boundary throw in. Knocked down to the front. Pursued by McRae. All the way back to the boundary. Couldn't pick it up cleanly. And thus the moment passed. Try again.
Only had the 4 disposals, McRae, which is good for most people. But for him, when you get about 38 every week, it's a slow start from him.
Secondary boundary throw in for Spitwater. That's what it does. English to the front. Right at the 50 this time. Laird ferrets away underneath. He's dragged down in the tackle. Keys tried to tow it, but all he did was knock it to McRae, to Dunkley, to Bontempelli from the boundary. He sets it up to the teeth of goal. He might have overkicked where he was aiming for. McPherson saw it out of bounds for the Crows. So a throw in BP on the opposite side of goal.
Indeed. So we tick inside almost the last 4.5 minutes of this opening quarter. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria Police Supply now. And we're deep inside attacking 50 here for the Dogs. They led it by 5 points. O'Brien front position. He palmed it back towards the boundary line. Brodie Smith trapped it nicely to Schomburg, who kicks a high up and under. Fogarty trying to get there, and Caleb Daniel put himself in the crunch for a terrific mark with a charging Fogarty. And this man, well, does he ever play a bad game, Lepper? Caleb Daniel, he runs off his mark, pops it up towards the hot spot for Bruce. English, Ugle-Hagan went to ground. Rorke Smith got involved. Now Jamari Ugle-Hagan under pressure. Gave it back to Dunkley. His kick was beautifully smothered by Jones. Ricochets back to McRae. Jamari Ugle-Hagan spins out of traffic. Beautiful little handball to Hannon. Tight angle for Johannesson. Puts the afterburners on. Hooks it on the right boot for a goal. And the Dogs worked through the traffic beautifully and found the little gaps and an opening to goal. And they're starting to put a bit of scoreboard ascendancy late in this opening quarter. 5-2-32 to 3-3-21 for Tyre Power.
What an amazing link-up by hands by the Doggies. We know how good they are via hands, but they're so quick. They're so sharp. Adelaide's pressure was actually pretty good, but they're just... When you're playing the Western Bulldogs, you can't even be a quarter of a step off when you come to pressuring your opposition, because their hands are so elite. Even a guy like Jamara, who's only new to the game, a great understanding of what he needs to do in that part of the game. So pressure has to be hot when you're always playing the Doggies, and the Adelaide have been okay on that, but have they absorbed Adelaide's best hit, the Doggies? Well, I guess the game will find out.
It's now 15 inside 50s to 9 the Bulldogs' way, so they've taken a real ascendancy in the territorial battle for safety steel sheds. AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks. Back in the middle, O'Brien took possession. English dispossessed him. Keys is under pressure from Bontempelli. He squeezes a kick forward of centre. It bounced on and on. It took a good turn for the Crows, but Eastonwood stood against it. To Daniel... And then to Dale on the way out. He bounces the ball on the wing. McRae flung it over his head to Hunter. Now back to McRae. Hendon on the boundary. Neat little sidestep to open up the play. He measured the kick off well. And the mark's taken by Scott. So Scott lets things develop up ahead and places it to the lead of Bontempelli. Keys trailed him in on that occasion. He'll flick the hand pass wide to Hunter. So here's the entry. He keeps it wide. He waited it for Waitman. It bounced up to Bruce, off to Johannesson, kick to the top of the square. He was hoping for Norton, but Sloane was awake to the danger.
He was. Jared gave it to Butts in short to Lynch in the back pocket here for the Crows, who try to exit efficiently to Laird. So scoring has just dried up the last 7 or 8 minutes for the Crows. In short to Rowe. One of their goal kickers in this opening quarter with that right foot snap. He finds himself right now at half back. Now he launches a long one up the line. Coming over the top was Cordy, and he killed that footy out of bounds. Neutral territory leper on the wing for a throw-in.
Yeah, the game's really gone against them, Adelaide, the last 10 minutes. No corridor movement for them. No entries inside their forward 50, so everything really drying up.
Justin Lippich for car sales. Everything you ought to know, as English and O'Brien will go at it again. Murphy sharked it off the tap there of English. Got on his right boot, a high up and under. Scott stood underneath. Himmelberg was charging in his direction. The gather by Lynch is good. Away to Rowe. Keys trying to get onto his left side. He fed it back. Now Kelly, he had his kick smothered. Ricochets inside forward 50. Tough work for the Crows. Himmelberg trying to barge his way through, and some high contact. Bontempelli, I think, felt the force of it charging Elliot Himmelberg, and Liberatore also got some high contact, and he'll take the free kick in defence here for the Dogs.
Well, Himmelberg might have got the first high one. I think he was a little bit stiff on that occasion.
Liberatore out to Bailey Smith. 1:40 to play in this opening term on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock. Bailey Smith measures off the kick. Waitman led up for him. So he's got footy in hand, the high flying Cody Waitman. From half back to half forward. It is a high ball to deal with. 3 Crows flew, but they had good representation still underneath. Sloane to Laird. Kicked into open space. Might be a tad risky. Cut off. Bulldogs got it. It was Scott who gave it to Liberatore. Now the kick comes inside the 50, and Dunkley used the body well. I beg your pardon, it was Lockie Hunter who used the body well, and he finds Norton on a streaming lead.
Yeah, alarm bells at the moment. Now, Doggies winning all the contests in all phases of the game. Not really getting any opportunities in their forward 50 at all, the Crows.
So it's 11, and it'll grow before quarter time after the Crows kick the first couple of the game. Aaron Norton, big deep breath. He's at left full forward. Punches it into the breeze and drives it right of the post. Through for a behind. Dogs by 12. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
I wonder if the Crows will go back down the middle. 30 seconds to go. Try and get that play up and going again. No, they don't.
Gone in short.
Short of the pocket. Always happens.
Jones went in short to McPherson, who chipped it to Rory Sloane at defensive halfback. And he works it up the wing. It's one-on-one Himmelberg and also Zane Cordy. Off hands out of bounds. We'll have it thrown in with quarter time imminent here at Mars Stadium. So it's a 12-point lead for the Bulldogs. Josh Bruce with 2 opening quarter goals. Liberatore, Ugelhagen and Johannesson. Rowe, Himmelberg and Lynch have been the goal kickers so far for Adelaide. O'Brien just took it cleanly, then dispossessed by English, spilt to Berry. So one last chance for the Crows, but Anthony Scott will hold them up. as he takes a great mark at half back. Bit of hang time in the kick as Sloane came over to spoil Lockie Hunter. But the Dogs with a nice advantage, Jared, going into the quarter-time break.
It's 5-3-30 through the Bulldogs. Adelaide 3-3-21. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Australia bronze in the mixed medley relay. The Brits have won it. It's quite a thrilling race depending on where you deploy your men and your women. Big leads open up and they're wheeled in. Emma McKeon with a stirring anchor leg for Australia swims them into the bronze medal position. The goal kickers, 2 for Bruce, 1 each for Liberatore, Ugelhagen and Johannesson, while for the Crows, their goals through Lynch, Rowe and Himmelberg. It's the Dogs by 12. AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria Police. Apply now.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Always win with the free 5-minute tyre safety check.
At Telstra, there's more ways to get a Samsung Galaxy. Pay now or pay later. Plus, save extra with trade-in on selected phones. Visit Telstra today.
There's gasworks at Kensington Racecourse Road. The left lane is closed before the Newmarket Rail Bridge. One lane remains open and work's going to be completed by 1:30 this afternoon. There's a closure on the Westgate Freeway. An entry ramp is closed just near Ring Road. The reopening will be at 5 a.m. Monday. Don't miss the adventure of a lifetime with Disney's Jungle Cruise starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt in cinemas now and streaming on Disney Plus with Premier Access. Conditions apply. That's the latest SEN Sky traffic.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
Hello, it's Paul Kiriakou here from Werribee, Western and Footscray Nissan. The all-new Navara Pro 4X is available now, featuring unparalleled off-road capabilities, including a 3.5-tonne maximum brake towing capacity. The Navara Pro 4X is ready for your next weekend away or to be your workhorse. And please remember, our sales department is open 24/7 online and click and collect sales are available. Western Nissan in Caroline Springs, Footscray Nissan and Werribee Nissan in Hoppers Crossing. We've got you covered in the West. LMCT 8938 and 10856.
When the cravings hit you, how does a Ripper Mega Box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes please. Packed with a Ripper Roll, 2 buttermilk wings, chips, mash and gravy and a drink. Get your Ripper Mega Box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
So you want a furphy? It's back in 82. Burrows were down by 6. Right on the siren, that mark of the match. 60 metres out, but he booted that ball so hard it split like an old shoe. The leather went through for 6, but the bladder sailed through for an extra point. And that's how I kicked a 7-pointer to win the match. There's your furphy.
Unbelievable.
Just because of those colder wintry nights, watching footy with mates outside under the pergola doesn't have to stop. Install Zip-Track blinds with Cameron's Blinds and Awnings before the end of July and receive a heater to keep you warm all footy season.
Terms and conditions apply.
Book now at cameronsblinds.com.au.
For all of us who love less distractions, love putting the feet up, getting away from it all, camping, caravanning and casting a line along the way. There's a lot to enjoy with Dometic, especially camp chair exercise, aka the act of reaching into your Dometic Patrol icebox and grabbing a cold one while sitting in your camp chair. Are you with me? Dometic, everything you need for adventures, big or small.
It's time to make the call and switch to Kogan Mobile, because right now you can get started with Kogan from just $4.90 for 30 days. Yep, just $4.90 for 30 days. Thousands of Aussies have already made the call and switched for unlimited calls and texts and a big 40 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Get started now with Kogan Mobile from just $4.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/footy.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
The Man Cave, shed, garage, sports room, home office, whatever you want to call it, Robot Building Supplies has everything to renovate or build it.
Robot's got it.
Metal roofing, cladding, wall panelling.
Robot's got it.
Structural steel, timber, insulation.
Robot's got it.
With 24-hour delivery, get it done fast with Robot Building Supplies. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. RobotBuildingSupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
When the cravings hit you, how does a barbecue mega box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes please. Packed with a chicken burger with bacon, onion rings, barbecue sauce and sides. Get your barbecue mega box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club. Because loose change menu, $1.50 custard pies are back.
So Himmelberg to have a shot here from 35. He can come around and open up the angle a little bit on that right boot. Gets a nice curl on that and a good start. Now to Lynch. He's going to kick on the outside of his boot in the end. Way from Walker, but it's rolled through for a goal. Libba gets to the front of the pack. He can straighten up Liberatore on the left boot and he drills it home. So Josh Bruce, a couple of steps out to the left and he drills it through the middle.
Tex cleared the way, row at the back, ghosted through, snapped it high and kicked the goal. It's the Dogs by 12 at quarter time. It's been a mad scramble across the past couple of hours, but Sam Edmonds just sent through that it appears every team will get out of Queensland today. So Essendon, the Giants, the Swans and Gold Coast are expected to be on planes out of Queensland at 3 o'clock to beat the 4 p.m. lockdown. And there is a scenario in which all games do go ahead tomorrow, or there are more creative solutions around Monday night footy. There is the emergency lever of using the pre-finals bye, but if every team does get out and to Victoria today, they can play all of these games either Sunday or Monday. Melbourne had to land, not leave the plane. They were going to be diverted to Perth. They're being brought back to Melbourne to get their game away. So she's been wacky races today. The opening highlights there, the opening quarter highlights for McDonald's. Celebrate with the Mac family at Macca's. I'm loving it. And the opening bounce of the second term for Tyre Power, your premiership favourite for Falcon Tyres. Long kick inside from Sloane is marked by Fogarty. So the Crows instantly out of the middle and set up for a shot at goal at the start of the term again.
Well, that was quick, wasn't it? Just one kick. That's how you want to do it in a game of footy, isn't it? But I think this just shows too, maybe this breeze isn't as dominant as we think. Both teams had really good opportunities in front of goal in the first quarter. That was a nice long kick out of the centre square and a great mark by Darcy Fogarty.
So Fogarty on approach to goal. He missed one in the opening term. He lets fly from 40 metres out. He gave it everything he had and he rode the wind beautifully. Fading it back left to right and through for a goal. The Crows with the early strike. They trail by 6 points. The Robot Building Supplies scoreboard. Robots got it. Reads 4-3-27 Adelaide, 5-3-33 the Bulldogs.
Well, it was a great centre clearance there by the Crows. It's one part of the game that's going well for them is their stoppages and clearances. They're matching the Doggies really man for man in that part of the ground. And also I think when they do get it inside 50, they do have some strengths, some good contested markability, and even particularly I think at ground level, that's where they've looked threatening the Crows inside their front half. So good start from them.
Yeah, won that strength battle against Josh Shecky, but we've been singing his praises, Libba, in the opening quarter with his intercepting.
Yep.
That time losing the one-on-one battle, but it's a fascinating watch, the Josh Shecky transfer to the back 50. This latter part of the year has given Luke Beveridge plenty to have a think about. English over the top of O'Brien. Sun out here at Mars. Beautifully sharked here by Bontempelli. Gave it to Hunter, who straightens back up on his left boot. Hits the top spot of the square and a great leap by Norton. Kicked to a beautiful spot and Aaron Norton did the rest and now the finish.
Now it's the Doggies' turn to do exactly the same thing. Straight out of the centre square, one kick in and Norton does the same thing.
So working it out of the middle beautifully and Norton now just to try and finish the work from the middle of the ground. Aaron Norton, just a couple of steps and he sends it over the goal umpire's head and the Dogs kick their sixth.
There are cars parked out on the road honking for a goal.
We love that. 6-3, 39 to 4-3, 27 for Robot Building Supplies.
Oh, well, the footy purists would love this. There's been actually 4 kicks in this game so far, and there's been 2 goals.
That's
so
fantastic.
It's quite amazing,
Yep.
isn't it? 1 kick each out of the centre square and 1 kick for a goal. So it's been quite an amazing start. Actually, footy would probably be quite boring if this is all it was, wasn't it? Kick, mark, goal. Kick, mark, goal. Or would it be? Or would we love that?
Well, during the quarter-time break, a bit of the retro round, I was watching Tony Modra just taking hangers, Leper, and the long balls into the days we cry of the big forwards.
So there are cars parked against the cyclone fence at one end of Mars Stadium. They're able to get a view in and they're going to honk with every goal. I love it. That's the way it should be, with no one allowed to watch the footy this weekend in Victoria. English won the tap. Keys was taken without it. McRae throws his head back, but he knows he gave away the free kick.
Don't have to pay a cent either, which is nice.
So Keys ball in centre field, but it's slow to get back to him. So the Bulldogs will have scrambled their numbers back. Keys kicks it out wide to half forwards. Not really the direct way home. O'Brien brought it to ground. There was a hand pass from Schoenberg in there. Ball popped up in the air, and Bontempelli just came storming through, took possession, fed it off to Bailey Smith, who's got runners inboard, but he's got a mind to go more directly. Not his best kick. Duday was able to cut off the awkward bouncing ball. He put it through Seedsman and Kelly, and the Crows on the counter-attack. He plays it in the Himmelberg, in the Fogarty direction. It fell away from him on the landing. McHenry gets hold of it. High to half forward. English stood his ground underneath. They all flew at him in the end. Tex off the ground. The ball was over the boundary by the time he socketed it. It will be a boundary throw in for Spitwater. That's what it does. The Crows in attack, but it's the Dogs by 12.
Second quarter on AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks. We're just outside 50 here for Adelaide. Dogs led it by 12 points. Early stages of this second quarter. Umpire to toss it back in. English controlled a bit of it there with O'Brien. Bailey Smith extracting a handball out. Dunkley trying to get out of the traffic. He's brought down in the tackle. Ball spilt to Bailey Smith. He's having plenty of it. Goes on the non-preferred left. Big fly from the Crows over the back. That was Murray with the spoil. Ball hit the deck and was won by the Dogs, who squeezed little kick to Norton. Gave it to McRae on his left. From 49, McRae, can he get it over the top? It just fades out to the right side. For a behind, Robot Building Supplies. Robot's got it. The scoreboard this afternoon for the Dogs, 6-4-40, Adelaide 4-3-27.
Sloan's on kicking duties. He leaves the square and lofts it out to half back. O'Brien flew. Lynch did the roving. Hand passed it inboard to Hamill, who was McHenry, who was dispossessed on his way through. Lynch fights with it with Liberatore. The umpire's going to ball it up.
It's been a good battle around the contest at the start of this second quarter.
Dogs by 13 for Robot Building Supplies. Seidman tried to fight his way through. He lost the footy. The same could be said for Dunkley, and Laird the last to hold it. 55 out from the Bulldogs' goal. Norton patrols the square. O'Brien wins the tap defensively, but McRae swoops on the footy. Hand pass to Daniel. He hits it high towards the teeth of goal. Duday dropped the mark going back, but he fights away underneath and gathers the ball cleanly. Hand pass to Laird, put him under pressure. Back to Duday. He clears the area with a wide kick for Lynch. He takes the mark out near the wing.
This is where Adelaide have to switch the ball a little bit. They're going very much in straight lines and maybe take the ball off the line a little and get some real offence happening.
Yeah, went straight line again up the line there. Cordy with the spoil. Ground level ball won by Caleb Daniel. He swept a handball back to Bailey Dale, who cut it back inside to McRae.
Should have been 50. He was
grabbed
late
by
the man heading for the mark, who had no right to do any of it.
Yeah, it could have been 100 actually.
10th disposal for McRae for safety steel sheds. Dogs share it. Bailey Williams back to Daniel. Drills it inside 50. Going back with a fly to the footy. Good mark taken here by Butts.
This is the one from Butts. Got to be adventurous. Look around. Look to switch. Look to use that corridor again, which they did so well in that first quarter.
His eyes were darting there, and he's going to elect to go up the line as that ball drifts towards the boundary line. Good mark, though, taken by O'Brien. Quickly gave it to McHenry. Is in two minds. Links up with Walker by hand. The Crows gained some meterage. It's a wide ball again towards half forward. Himmelberg, in the end, has taken the mark. And Cordy and Dale in close proximity to deal with. Now the inside 50 kick for the Adelaide Crows. As he tries to just open it up. Centering ball. O'Brien underneath it. Sloan couldn't quite gather cleanly. Keys under all sorts of pressure. Laird burrows in. Feeds it out to Keys. Whips on his boot quickly. Only as far as Caleb Daniel, who takes the mark 20 metres from his defensive goal.
Oh, it's intense around the ball, Lepper, isn't it? The Dogs just applying all manner of pressure. Kick out to Wood, who lofts it down the line. Crows had good numbers at it, but Jamara threatens underneath, and it's taken away by Rorke-Smith, who fed it forward the plate of Johannesson. Even numbers inside 50. The kick's too strong for Norton. Butts comes back with him, and they can't haul it in. It runs end over end out of play.
There's a poor option by Johannesson. He had a nice little easy uncontested mark inside 50, but just want to go the longer option to Norton, and just a shocking kick. He rolls out of bounds 30 metres away from goal.
Dogs by 13 for Robot Building Supplies. 14 and a half minutes to go on the Makita Rule, the outdoors clock in this second term. 40 out from the Bulldogs' goal. English taps it down, but Sloan's all over it. Seaman got dispossessed, hit hard by Waitman. Liberatore, Bailey Smith, McRae, and now Hunter underneath. Kicks to the teeth of goal off a few hands. Bruce tried to release Waitman. It didn't quite work. Johannesson has another go. The Crows scramble in defence, and they scramble well. Kelly's kick bumps up and hits Lynch in the face. He's able to gather and steady himself and kick it for Murphy, who propels himself to take a neat mark. He spreads it out to half-back for Keys.
He does. So Keys will just square a little one, just the required distance to Seedsman. Back of the centre square here. Chips it in short to Schomburg, the rising star of the week. He'll just square it out wide. Mark taken here by Brodie Smith. He's had the most disposals, coming up for his 15th for safety steel sheds. Long towards half forward. Bailey Dale got a hand on it. The gather by Garcia at ground level. Fed it to Bailey Smith, who wants to wheel back on his right. He's able to do so. Penetrating ball in the Bruce and Waitman direction. Bruce takes a nice mark.
Great contested mark.
And he straightens up. Now the long ball inside forward 50. Going back with the flight. Norton on the stretch. Bontempelli. Norton still a chance in the goal square, but Butts comes across his path and eventually gets it through for a rush behind. So the Dogs 6-5-41, the Crows 4-3-27 for Robot Building Supplies.
The Crows are trying to build up their uncontested mark game, but they're not really going anywhere with it, so eventually it just forces them down the line.
Brodie Smith marked the kick in. He clears the area. O'Brien's always the target. Bailey Dale, though, whisks it away underneath, and the Dogs come straight back in. The kick is a wide one, so that last kick inside 50 has let them down on a couple of occasions. It's out of bounds near the behind post.
And if you are the Crows, that long down the line, the previous passage, they took a contested mark and a contested mark, but geez, that's hard yards. If you're going to rely on your keys to take contested marks to get your ball inside 50, it's a really hard way to live.
Justin Lepage for car sales, everything you ought to know. Dogs in the forward pocket. O'Brien versus English in the ruck duel. English got hand to it, but hit it too hard back toward and over the boundary.
Because they're trying hard, the Crows. Their pressure's been good. They're in the contest with the Doggies, but it's just the polish at times is just a little difference between the two teams.
Next game to go for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day as the Cats and the Kangas in Hobart, not too far away from the opening siren. At the throw-in, the ruckman have knocked it straight back out of bounds again. So nothing from a couple of ventures so far. Dogs by 14 in attack. Kicking with the aid of the wind in this second term. English planted himself. O'Brien did okay to reach around. McRae takes it right against the boundary to open the play up, and English drifted forward from the ruck contest, and he takes the mark 20 metres out.
He's such a good kick inside 50, isn't he, McRae? He's got a really nice weighted ball, and geez, if you're a forward, you'd love to be leading to him of all the players in the Doggies team, because not only hit the target, but they're nice and soft hands too to take the ball.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And he's usually a sound set shot at goal. Left of centre ever so slightly. Close in. English drills it through for the goal.
Here's the horns.
The beeps of appreciation for Tim English. It's the Dogs now by 20. 7-5-47 to the Crows. 4-3-27. The Robot Building Supplies scoreboard on AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks.
Well, it's the biggest win you can have when you're a ruckman is you hate getting goals scored against you, and it really makes the opposition ruckman get on the back foot a little bit. I think English did really well, competed for the ruck, and then O'Brien started to drift towards the ball, and he just spat forward really hard and thought, well, I'm going to take you on back the other way, and Doggies won the ball and he got it. So good win for Tim English in a difficult, because he's losing the hit-outs today, so It's good. He's got to beat him on the outside. He's got to beat O'Brien in those sorts of plays.
Yes, he has a little spell for Spitwater. High-pressure cleaners, tools, not toys, Aussie tough. It's a nice luxury for the Dogs to have with their three tools and an English drifting forward as well. So Bruce will take the centre bounce against O'Brien. Liberatore at the drop. He was able to extract a handball out. Sloan trying to gather on hands and knees. Bontempelli climbs right over the top of him, trying to wrench that footy away. And the umpire is going to penalise Sloan for holding the ball, so it'll be a Bontempelli free kick. And that left boot measured beautifully to Bruce. 55 from home, Josh Bruce. Plenty in the Sharon, and it just goes out to the left-hand side for a behind.
That is a bit of a danger when you have the breeze. If you have lots of shots outside 50, you can get a lot of long behinds. So you have to be really conscious. You still set up that good shot at goal.
Dogs by 21 on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard.
AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Jones has kicking duties for the Crows. Always kicked it very wide, and he's watched it go further and further away out of bounds on the full.
What number is that? Is it 4 now we're up to?
Yeah.
Out in the fulls?
Yep.
Hunter, as a result, has footy in hand, and the Dogs come straight back in. Not well, though, as Duday is able to take the mark, having planted himself in the hole behind Jamara Ugelhagen and in front of Aaron Norton. Duday again plays it wide. Breeze gets hold of it, blows it closer to the boundary. Himmelberg has to smack it away and out of play.
Yeah, well, they're not going to challenge the Doggies by just continually kicking long down the line. They're going to have to start running the ball, taking some courageous, maybe run and carry chains, or do something a little different to really test out the Doggies' defence.
Between the wing and left half forwards, the throw-in. Dogs in attack leading by 21. Bruce is going to do the ruck work against O'Brien. O'Brien clearly won the tap down to the front. He was hoping to open up the play for Schoenberg, who's kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Running out of paper, Lippert.
Yeah.
Whilst the breeze is going to, as we see it right of screen, it is still pushing towards one side of the ground, because the far side of the ground, really the ball's lived there almost the whole of the first half. It's probably been 90% on that side of the ground.
Hunter's racking up his stats by being the closest man to these out on the full. Yes. He goes long to a pack. O'Brien made the spoil. Seedsman underneath clears the area for the Crows. Out of bounds on the full. That's a hat-trick. Deary me. When do we get to the Furphy memorable moments?
And they've allowed one man to stand on that outer side for that purpose.
Oh, he's there again, Jared. Lockie Hunter's got it.
Oh,
that's another position.
He's cheating.
So Hunter straightens things up. Long kick, but it drifts wide. Bruce was there. Duday with the spoil. Seedsman at the drop, had his handball cut off. Waitman, Dunkley, Bruce trying to get through the traffic. Not much room to move there. Boundary line wins that. We'll have it tossed in. About 40 out from the Dogs' goal. 7-6-48. The Crows 4-3-27. Got over 10 minutes to play on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock in this second quarter. So the sunshine out in Ballarat. O'Brien bumped off Bruce, then lost his footing. Bruce will be penalised here for holding the ball. It'll be a free kick to Jake Kelly, who comes back towards Seedsman, conceded a little bit of ground, and then he's pushed off the kick, and guess where it's gone? That one almost out of the ground.
Oh, he was tackled on that occasion. I'll give him some degree of benefit. That's gone nearly out of the stadium.
Off the Seedsman boot. Doesn't make too many errors by foot.
Cody Waitman's taking the kick in from the out in the full. Where's Lockie Hunter been the last few seconds?
He's just inside there. He wasn't close enough that time. So Waitman, what an impact he's had. 48 metres, goes across the face, holds up. There's a Crow in front, and that's Duday, who takes the mark deep in defence.
None of this is very smart from either team, Leper, is it?
No.
They've got to try a different plan. Long on the way out, Seedsman, same side of the ground, not out on the full, but a straight turnover. Cordy brings it inboard, so that's the first change of angle we've seen in a little while. Dunkley measures the kick through the 50, missed his target. Waitman propelled himself in. Sloan, though, came up with the footy to Himmelberg, to Sloan. They turn it over. Garcia, I don't know what he was thinking. A sweeping hand pass that went straight to Seedsman. Brodie Smith has his kick smothered by Hunter, who earns a terrific kick right to the teeth of goal. Ugelhagen didn't think it was going to get to him. He threw his hand out at the last and then got dragged down without it, the umpire said. He had it momentarily when the tackle of Butt started, but the ump thought by the time that he finished it that the dog wasn't in possession.
This is where this rule, it's so tricky, isn't it? When you have possession, you're getting tackled and it gets bumped out as you're getting tackled and they hold on a little too long. It's such, in a lot of ways, it's a little unfair for the tackler because he committed when he knew the ball was in your hands. But either way, Ugelhagen gets the shot on goal.
And he really should deliver. 30 metres out. He prods it through. And after a prolonged arm wrestle in one quartet of the ground, it's the Dogs who stretch the lead to 27 points. Ugelhagen's kicked his second goal. It's 8-6-54 to the Crows, 4-3-27. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Honestly, if that's called holding the ball, I'm totally happy with that rather than holding the man. Yeah, he had the footy, he was tackled, he dropped the footy.
Yeah, and you sort of half bobble it in your hand. See, what you're doing there is you're playing a game with the umpire. You're testing his patience to see whether he'll pay it either way. So, look, and what tends to happen, this is the thing for Adelaide, if you're just going to keep going down the line, the ball will just stay in your half. So eventually something like this will happen, a free kick or a scrimmage and a goal will happen. So they have to do something else with their ball movement to try and help them get out of that back 50.
Do you think there's any chance the folk in the utes and the cars are listening to us?
Well, they could be.
If you are, just by any chance, just beep your horn now.
Maybe word's going to get to them, Jared, that you better tune into AFL Nation.
There it is. I think I heard one.
So the Crows working towards their 50. They've doubled the amount of inside 50s. The Bulldogs 30-15 for safety steel sheds. And the Crows, for a rare time this quarter, get into their forward half of the ground as Sloane sends them long inside. Eastonwood with the climb. Free kick. It's against
Shaki holding, not looking at the ball.
Be a Fogarty free kick.
Yep. He was going back to engage Fogarty, but wasn't looking at the ball at all and grabbed him front on contact.
So Darcy Fogarty, who's already hit the scoreboard in this match, to try and pull one back for the Crows. Clear free kick. No eyes on the footy there from Josh Shaki. So Darcy Fogarty been in and out of this Crows team. Left to right, but it's gone way right and just sneaks in for a behind. 4-4-28. The Dogs 8-6-54 for Robot Building Supplies.
Well, he's only played 2 games down there, Josh Shaki, but one thing he's learned very quickly is that if you give a free kick away, don't man the mark, so it doesn't look like you've given it away. So that's twice now he's done that.
13 inside 50s to 3 this term, the Dogs' way for safety steel sheds. Long kick in, was cut off initially by Hamill. They all set on him. And will he get a free kick for high contact in the end against Bailey Smith? I think he will. So Hamill rises with the footy. Rory Sloane might have a broken nose by the look of things down on the bench for Spitwater. That's what it does. Kick goes up inside the 50. Difficult ball to mark. They fight away underneath. And nothing doing. It'll be balled up 20 metres out from goal, directly in front for the Crows, who trail it by 26 points. Dunkley just hatched that ball as he sat over the top of it. And he's probably a fraction lucky, having made no effort to get away with it, that he hasn't been penalised. A secondary ball up. Fighting for it hard was Berry. He's buried in the tackle. So tense moments with 6.5 to play in the second term. The Crows trying to find a way back into this. O'Brien tapped it down. McRae took the footy. Hand pass was a bit too crafty. In goes Garcia hard. Beg your pardon, it's Anthony Scott who cannoned in hard. He took a few bodies with him as well. And I think we'll get to another ball up. O'Brien reaches around. Shaki clears the area. High ball, pitches it half forward for the Crows. They have the numbers after it, but it just wouldn't stay in as it deviates and runs out of play. 26 points on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard in the Dogs' favour. There's 6.25 minutes to play in this term on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
You just think this is a crucial part of the game right now. Adelaide need to score, don't they? They need to get some result. Ball hasn't been in their front half of the ground all too often, so they need to get something out of this.
Ball thrown back into play. O'Brien over the top of English. Led. He was stripped of the footy. Tackled there by Caleb Daniel, who extracts it by Ham. Gave it to McRae on his left side. Penetrating boot towards half forward. Murray and Ugelhagen. Norton trying to run onto the footy. Butts trying to block his path. Norton hugs the boundary line. Did beautifully. Trying to handball inboard to Ugelhagen, who then had to apply the tackle on Murray and holds that ball up about 35 out from the Dogs' goal.
Yeah, great effort, Chamara. Not just doing the work with the ball, but great putting the pressure on and locking it away for the Dogs.
English and O'Brien. Daniel skirts the pack, gets through the traffic. Right foot snap from Caleb Daniel. How about that? Brilliant stuff. And that is a goal of the game contender for instant windscreens. 1-3-2 444. Caleb Daniel at his best, Leper.
Yeah, that's clearly the best goal of the game. At ground level, just really poor. Missed the tackle there by Keys. Missed the tackle there by McHenry. So that's just really poor play from the Crows' defence. So, but this is what Caleb Daniel does well. You know, he's obviously a low-to-the-ground player, so you want to be good at ground level when you're that short, I guess. But he's just weaved through them magically, and a great finish too.
That was excellent. 32-point Dogs leads. AFL Nation for Victoria Police Supply now. North have kicked the first goal against the Cats in Hobart. Daniel tags out. Gets the plaudits down on the bench. For Quick As, they know freight, quickaz.com.au. Might have thrown a shoe in all of that as well. Get the farrier out to help him. 5.5 to play in the term. Up goes English, wins the tap. He's on the follow-up as well, but O'Brien shut him down from the side to make sure he wasn't going to get beaten in a profound way. And it will be a ball up. Reaching up, O'Brien tapped it down. Liberatoria had first play. It's almost dragged out of his grasp. He's dragged down regardless. It stays in close confines. So the Dogs have kicked 4 goals to 1 in this second term thus far. O'Brien had a fresh area at it out of the ruck. Murphy with a releasing hand pass. It didn't go far though, just to the next skirmish. And it'll be handed up by Lynch to the umpire. O'Brien over his head this time, hoping that Laird might have been able to find a step of space. There is none to be given.
Just repeat stoppages, isn't it?
Yep.
Stoppage after stoppage after stoppage, which is some ways Adelaide's strength, but it's also something the Doggies do really well.
English the tap down to Liberatore, so they win that little duel up to Waitman. Couldn't hang on to the mark and a little bit hurt as he lands in the aftermath. Kelly in defence, worked it away to Hamill, up to McHenry, and then to Jones, who was confronted and stopped in his tracks.
Perfect tackle.
Another ball up. It was McRae that time who stopped the passage of play. And we're stuck in these stoppages, BP.
We are. So that replay on Cody Whiteman, gee, impacts every contest. Now the Dogs get out. Garcia linked up with Hunter. Now the long ball inside forward 50. Down towards Hannum. Going to Graham was young McPherson. Jamara Ugle-Hagan in a foot race. Duday coming across the top of him. And it was off his knee. So out of bounds in the right forward pocket here for the Bulldogs. We lead it by 32 points. AFL Nation for Victoria Police Supply now. The Dogs are inside 50 again. O'Brien front position on English. Hannon just overran it. Schomburg took it from defensive 50. Going back with a flight there was Scott. Almost completed the mark. Dogs through Dale. They're everywhere here. Liberatore, their quick hands in traffic. Beautifully sharked by Dunkley. Into the path of Baileydale. Nice little sidestep. Lowers the eyes. He says, come to me. Half volley ball. It was tough to take down low for Mitch Hannon. Ball stops about 30 out from the Dogs' goal. They're pressing here. O'Brien won the palm down. Waitman coming through. Head over the footy. McRae extracted it out to Garcia with a flying right boot. It goes across the face for a behind. 9-7-61. The Crows 4-4-28 for Robot Building Supplies.
I think the Crows are getting done a little bit. They're just getting stepped too much in the traffic, in the contest, and Doggies are really getting through them. So that's one thing. They've just got to shorten their feet a little bit. Make sure the Dogs just can't get easy transitions through them.
McPherson kicks it into the breeze and it hangs up. Himmelberg is there to take the mark. Fogarty is there to take the mark. He measures it off short and wide for Murphy.
This is a worry for the Crows. This is their one play. Kick it long, and if their big guy doesn't mark it, they don't have much else, so he's going to go long again, Fogarty.
High ball down the wing. O'Brien presents, had plenty of company in the air. McHenry dances his way clear underneath. He flopped the ball up to half forward. Shackey came out hard in defence for the Dogs, and he's able to decisively clear the area, but he has kicked it straight back, and Murphy has taken the mark. He'll lay it off to Lynch. It's the Dogs by 33 points. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans.
Cats lead Kangaroos by 117-1 straight down at Blundstone Arena around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Crows looking to go forward. It was a shallow kick towards their attacking 50. Fogarty there, and they climb it over the top. Easton Wood holds it up for the Dogs. Cordy The last there at getting off the deck as well. Liberatore. O'Brien trying to flick it into a bit of space for Rowe, but not a lot of room to move here, and Hunter's taken some high contact. And the advantage paid here for the Bulldogs. They kick off half back to Hannon. And now the run starts. Johannesson has run from half back. It just needs to sit, but the ball drifted wide over the boundary line, but the Dogs have got it to half forward. They led it by 33 points on AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. They're in control of this one at the moment, the Western Bulldogs, looking to keep top billing on the AFL table. O'Brien and English. Another battle here. A lot of boundary throw-ins today. One down by O'Brien. Sloan was stripped of it, and O'Brien locks up English in the tackle. Ball stops.
It's been a pretty predictable game so far. Most of the plays have been on the far side of the ground. A lot of repeat stoppages and a lot of long down the lines.
One down by English again. Great hands there by Garcia. Rourke Smith back to Garcia. Straightens up on the left. Waitman came and he took it. He charged beautifully, accelerated it, that footy. Small, who can do it in the air and where he should be at ground level. His impact has been unbelievable. Lipper.
He's a difficult matchup, isn't he? He's because he's an aerial small. He's got athleticism. He's got courage in the air too. So he's happy to dive into a pack as well and expose his body. So yeah, very difficult matchup.
A young man very much keen to keep his spot, and he's very much doing that in 2021. That one's got a lot of left curl on it. With that breeze, trying to get it from right to left, but really drifted.
Yeah, you almost have to aim it at the far point post today. That's how much that breeze is pushing in towards the goal face.
Dogs led it by 34 points on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard.
Duday hares out of the goal square, kicks it long outside the 50 to the far side. It's the only play the Crows have had into the wind all term. It is rather odd to present in such a way.
Well, it's a defensive game plan, and that's fine. But as the scoreboard starts to stretch this far away, you have to do something a little different to try and get the ball back in your end. If it's 4 goals up for all, I'm probably saying, yeah, Crows, keep doing that. You know, just keep the scoreboard nice and level going into half time. So when you get the breeze, you can actually have a crack at it. But now it's a 5.5 goal sort of ball game. You might have to take a few more risks.
So boundary throw in to boundary throw in. You can see the wind bending the trees on the outskirts of the ground. O'Brien with a double-handed palm. But Daniels scurries away underneath. He opens the play up with a hand pass to Rourke Smith. Up to English, wider to McRae. He can squeeze the kick inside the 50. A bit too strong for Ugle-Hagan. Duday's going to be tackled by Hannon over the boundary. So the inside 50 is now 35-18 in the Dogs' favour for Safety Steel Sheds.
And most of it's been this quarter, that differential.
There's a minute to play in it. The Dogs by 34. Attacking relentlessly at the throw-in. Keys will provide a little bit of relief for the Crows as he bounces the ball to half-back. Berry is in there, so too is Rowe. Dogs had Williams, who fought the good fight. The Crows do squeeze a kick out to the outer wing. Wood brought it to ground for the Dogs, and he's able to open the play up with a hand pass to Cordy, who put it through Williams. He has a look deep and drives it as far as he can. It drifts and drifts and drifts on the breeze out toward the behind post. Clears the pack and bounces for a throw-in 5 around from the goal fronts.
35 seconds to go. Danger time for the Crows. They've just got to hang on this part of the game. Can't give up an easy defensive 50 stoppage goal right now.
So boundary throw-in. Only 20 metres around for the Dogs' goal. They shark one here. Liberatore with a strong tackle locks up the arms of Rory Sloan. And the umpire to toss this one up. Clock ticking towards half-time. O'Brien back in the direction of McHenry. Dogs sweating here. Dunkley and a sandwich of Crows. Can't force his way through. Ball stops again.
Just got to watch that handball back if you're an Adelaide Crows defender. They might flick it back and try and get a shot on goal.
English trying to flick it back. Quick hands here by Bontempelli. Bailey Smith. They can set a bit of ground to get a bit of an opening. Bailey Williams high up and under, drifting towards goal here at the back. Bruce was there, and it's off hands for a behind. And that is just going to be about all she wrote for the first half, Jared.
It is. So the Dogs have stretched a 12 points quarter-time lead to 35 at the main break. It'll be McPherson to kick it in, and the siren will sound. Bulldogs 9-9-63 lead the Crows 4-4-28. Goal kickers for the Bullies, Bruce and Ugle-Hagan 2 each. Liberatore, Norton, Daniel, Johannesson and English with 1 apiece. While for the Crows it's Lynch, Rowe, Fogarty and Himmelberg. The Dogs by 35 points at the main break. In Hobart, it's Geelong 1-3-9 leading North Melbourne 1-1-7, 9 minutes to go in the opening term. And at the Olympics, it's the Hockeyroos who are in action. So Australia's women's hockey team against Argentina, 0-0 in the early stages of the third quarter. This is AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria Police. Apply now.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Robot Building Supplies. Robots got it.
Get free delivery on KFC's Christmas in July feast, only on the KFC app. Get the Colonel's finest Kentucky Fried Chicken delivered right to your dinner table. Not available everywhere and not forever.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
When the cravings hit you, how does a Ripper Mega Box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes, please. Packed with a Ripper Roll, 2 buttermilk wings, chips, mash and gravy, and a drink. Get your Ripper Mega Box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
So, you want another furphy? Well, legend has it that a brewer in Geelong had an epiphany, a vision for a beer unlike any other. Easy drinking, full strength, a clean finish. They say he brewed it for ultimate refreshment, and once perfected, he'd call it Furphy Crisp Lager.
Isn't that what he's drinking?
Oh, yeah. Here you go. Furphy Crisp Lager.
Unbelievable.
When they're on the road, truckies have no time to waste, so a flat tyre can be a real letdown. Fortunately, Tyre Right is a member of the best truck emergency roadside tyre service in Australia. So if you've blown a tyre, no matter where you are, give them a call and they'll get you back trucking fast. And they have Australia's largest tyre selection, including steer, drive, trailer and more. Say good day to your local Tyre Right store or call 138 168 to find out more. They won't be beaten on any advertised price. No truck and worries. TyreRight.com.au.
At SEN, we're all sleeping like logs, I can tell you. And if you want to know our secret, the secret is the Aussie-made Spinal Ease pillow. Trust me, it's helped me sleep so much better. There's no neck pain or headaches. I'd like one of our listeners to go to spinalease.com.au right now and order one. I guarantee you it'll change your life too, because a great day starts with a good night's sleep. This Spinal Ease pillow will change your life. Go to spinalease.com.au. That's Spinal E. ze.com.au. You'll thank me later.
Shopping online is easy with Coles. And with click and collect orders, we'll bring your groceries straight to your car at over 400 stores. Find out more at coles.com.au/shop. It's that easy. Coles. Value the Australian way.
What a mark. Right on the siren. Now he's lining up his options.
At Liberty, they understand that achieving your finance goals can make all the difference. With free-thinking home, car, business, commercial and personal loans, Liberty's got your back.
Whoa, what a goal!
Liberty, official partner of the Essendon Football Club. Visit liberty.com.au today. Approved applicants only. Lending criteria apply.
Hello. Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles have European-made timber look laminate flooring for under $19 per square metre. Yes, National Tiles exclusive European oak look flooring for under $19 per metre. That's less than $190 for an average 10 square metre bedroom floor. National Tiles. Now you can get a quality finish for less. Rush in now and save.
Certainty is a great feeling, and that's the feeling you get with Toyota certified pre-owned vehicles, because they come with a full service history, 90-point inspection and independent background check. And right now, eligible models also come with an exclusive finance offer with Toyota Access. See your local dealer or search Toyota certified. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Approved applicants only. T's and C's apply. Max finance term of 48 months. Offer ends 31/08/2021. Toyota Finance Australia Limited. AFSL and Australian Credit Licence 392536.
When the cravings hit you, how does a barbecue mega box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes please. Packed with a chicken burger with bacon, onion rings, barbecue sauce and sides. Get your barbecue mega box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club. Fish menu, $1.50 custard pies are back.
So Fogarty on approach to goal. He lets fly from 40 metres out. He gave it everything he had and he rode the wind beautifully.
Aaron Norton, just a couple of steps and he sends it over the goal umpire's head, and the Dogs kick their six.
There are cars parked out on the road, honking for a goal. Left of centre, ever so slightly, close in. English drills it through for the goal. 30 metres out, he prods it through. It's the Dogs who stretch the lead to 27 points. Ugle-Hagen's kicked his second goal.
Right foot snap from Caleb Daniel, how about that? Brilliant stuff.
Those highlights for McDonald's celebrate the Mac family at Macca's. I'm loving it. The Dogs by 35 points, 9-9-63 to the Crows 4-4-28. AFL Nation for Athena Home Loans. Save on your home loan at athena.com.au. And Victoria Police. Victoria Police is recruiting now. Search police careers. We'll get Justin Leppich's thoughts as we get into the halftime floor show for Choices Flooring.
The Choices Flooring Halftime Floor Show. Check out Choices Flooring's Room View program.
Lepper, how have you seen it as the Dogs have broken clear?
Well, it's really one-way traffic, I thought, in the second quarter. Adelaide were almost like the boxer walking out, just putting their arms up, thinking, how much can I absorb before we get our opportunity in the next quarter, which is an interesting way to do it. They just decided to continually go long down the line. About 4 or 5 in a row ended up out in the full, which was quite humorous, for the Dogs to bring it back the other way. So they didn't really get a lot of opportunity. The Dogs are happy to spread the ball a little bit. They're plus 37 uncontested possession on the game, so they're happy to flick it around and move and try and get on the spread. It's quite funny because we spoke about Jack McRae only having the 4 disposals about, 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. He's up to 18 already. So, geez, he moves quick. He works fast, doesn't he, when he has his red-hot moments. So I just thought Adelaide Crows that quarter were very vanilla with their game styling. I still think they're having a crack around the ball. They're still trying to go head-to-head with them. Rory Sloane's been good. Ben Keys is trying his best in that part of the ground, but you're up against the best, okay? So you have to give them something back the other way, and I think it starts with Adelaide with a little bit of their ball movement. If you're matching them in the contest stuff, that's great. They're not matching them on the uncontested stuff. That's where they've got to get a little bit more adventurous.
So is it McRae who's running hot for Ream, Ream, Australia's favourite in hot air?
Yes, I think it is. I like him. Caleb Daniel's the other one I think that's having a real hot crack as well.
BP, you got the stats wrap for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to save, built to last.
So McRae's had the 18s we've alluded to. Bailey Smith, a lot of the footies had 16. Rory Sloane always in and under and trying to win that ball in the middle of the grounds had the 16. Caleb Daniel, superb. I feel like he plays a good game. Every time he goes around, Caleb Daniel, he's had the 14. Keys with 13. Hunter has had the 13, just in terms of some of the team numbers. And we spoke about the differential of the inside 50s, Lepper, and they really mounted up, didn't they, in that second term? So double the amount of inside 50s, 36-18 to half-time, tells a story.
Support Aussie-made products.
Yep. That's 100% BP with you.
One player you could count on in the first half for one, a beer you can count on. So, BP, that's Caleb Daniel for you?
No doubt. Clean. I mean, he's built low to the ground, so you expect him to do a lot of good work underneath and around the bootlaces. But whether he's at half-back covering the ground, whether he's kicking in, he's a beautiful, if he's designated kicker at times, he's just a beautiful kick of the footy, and his clean hands are just terrific to watch.
Australian-made Smart Play. Look for the logo. Be sure it's Aussie.
Well, Smart Play.
It's probably how the Dogs used the breeze in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think so.
attacked into the breeze in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think so.
So they kept the ball on the near side, whereas the Crows spent that whole quarter out on the far side.
On the far side. So, yeah, I think so. Well, I think a big part of the Western Bulldogs and what they do really well, they can do any part of the game well. Offense, defense, stoppage, they've got it all covered. So I think that's where the Crows are a little bit limited because they're little bit more contest-based only.
Big moments of the first half of Bendix breaks, confident stopping Bendix breaks. So the hanger in the goal square for Josh Bruce.
That has to be it, I would have thought. That's the big moment for me in the first half.
So early fly,
Yep.
sort of tilted and hung.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out, the very rare moment where it's captured by the two goalpost cams.
Yeah, it's close to goal. So I love the mark where they come from the side and almost, flip, horizontal to the ball. I love that.
The player power ratings for Red Energy for 100% Australian electricity and gas. Switch today, call 131806. You've got the fan.
Yeah, I got them here. It's so funny because we've got the two Ruckman 1 and 2 with the fantasy.
Yeah.
So it's all built off the back of hitouts. That's sort of the funny game because there's been a lot of stoppages, a lot of hitouts. So you got the two tallest guys, Tim English and Riley O'Brien 1 and 2. Then you got the two smallest guys on the ground, Rory Laird and Caleb Daniel, third and fourth. So it's that sort of game, a classic Ruckman and Rovers game.
Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Geelong 2-4-16, North Melbourne 2-2-14. A minute and a half to go in the opening term, but Larkey has a shot at goal to put North in front. And Australia's medal tally in Tokyo, a 10th gold medal with Kaylee McEwen winning the 200 metres backstroke. 10 gold, 3 silver and 13 bronze. Emma McKeon now has 9 Olympic medals, so she's the equal of Ian Thorpe, with the chance to go one further tomorrow when she swims as favourite in the 50 metres freestyle, having broken the Olympic record twice already. Unmissable moments for Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. So this is the old school. There's no one allowed in, but the clever locals, they're on the cyclone fence in their cars and they're for goals. It's beautiful. Love it.
Got the heater on.
Who's the toughest player for Happy Tint? Happy Tint your home, your office, your car.
Ooh.
Really rugged. It's a day for the ruggeds.
There's a lot there.
Sloane's almost busted his nose and he's been in the coalface.
I think Rory Sloane is it, to be honest. I think he's been their big shining light for the Crows.
And MEGT Rookie of the Day, MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts, called 13 MEGT today. So Jamara Ugle-Hagen's kicked 2 and looked likely.
He has, and him and Cody Waitman are the two that they're looking pretty good as far as the rookies go today.
The injury round for Sudok's pain relief cream. Follow the directions for you, so all clear on that front. Did you get the medical subs at the start,
I
BP?
did. Lipinski for the Dogs and David McKay for the Crows.
Beautiful, beautiful. North have hit the front. Larkey kicked truly. 3-2-20. They lead Geelong 2-4-16, approaching quarter time in Hobart. It is the Dogs by 35. 9-9-63 to Adelaide 4-4-28. That has been the halftime floor show, thanks to Choices Flooring.
Sport all rolled up for Roll. Fast, fresh Vietnamese with crunch, bite and flavour. Order via the app or visit a store today.
Coach Alistair Clarkson has confirmed he will depart Hawthorn at the end of the season, a year earlier than originally planned. After 17 years, Clark admits the club needs fresh air for 2022, with Sam Mitchell set to take the reins. Fremantle assistant Josh Carr has been stood down by the club and charged after alleged breaches of quarantine directions. The Dockers are completing a 14-day home quarantine period after travelling to the Gold Coast with special exemptions granted for visiting the club to train. In the NBA, where former Adelaide 36ers guard Josh Giddey has been selected with pick 6 in the draft, off to Oklahoma City Thunder, and Australia's Emma McKeon added a second gold medal to her 2020 Olympics haul with a win in the women's 100-metre freestyle final at the Tokyo Games. Fellow Aussie Kate Campbell finished in third for bronze. That's sport, and it's all thanks to Rolled, family-made Vietnamese, served fast and fresh.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
When the cravings hit you, how does a Ripper Mega Box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes, please. Packed with a Ripper Roll, 2 buttermilk wings, chips, mash and gravy, and a drink. Get your Ripper Mega Box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
From rugby to running, sporting dreams start at Rebel. Shop the biggest range with the best brands in-store or at rebelsport.com today and bring your sporting dreams to life. Rebel, sport is calling.
Hi, I'm Daniel from Team Tank Logistics. We rely on Renault Traffic to deliver freight safely. It's easy to get in and out of loading base. When you need a van to deliver, it's top notch. There's loads of room for bulky items and plenty of anchor points to secure it. The cabin's full of great technology and it's very comfortable to drive. They're really fuel efficient and we get plenty of Ks out of a tank.
Renault Traffic, now available with a 5-year easy life ownership.
That's my business. It's my van.
Want award-winning service with your mobile plan? Mate! Get unlimited talk and text plus data banking up to 200 gigabytes from only $25 per month. Plus free Tidal music subscription included. Choose a provider you trust like a mate. Visit letsbemates.com.au.
At Autobahn, we're all about top gear, low prices. Whether it's for inside your car, under the hood, or in the garage. If you find the same top gear at a lower price elsewhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed. Exclusions apply. Autobahn.
Top gear, low prices. So you want a furphy? It's back in 82. Burrows were down by 6. Right on the siren, that mark of the match. 60 metres out, but he booted that ball so hard it split like an old shoe. The leather went through for 6, but the bladder sailed through for an extra point. And that's how I kicked a 7-pointer to win the match. There's your furphy.
Unbelievable.
How's your latest energy bill looking? It's time to flip the switch and experience the amazing value at Kogan Energy. Want proof? Just upload your electricity bill on koganenergy.com.au and find out how much you could be saving on Kogan's incredible energy rates. See why thousands of Aussies are already saving with Kogan Energy. Visit koganenergy.com.au. Kogan Energy, powered by PowerShop and does not operate in all areas.
There are different kinds of love. You can love your partner, your sport, your car. It's all different. But if you can't say, I love my pillow, well, I feel sorry for you. People who sleep on the Aussie-made Spinal pillow can honestly say they love their pillow. Neck pain, headaches, snoring, the Spinal pillow changes the way that you sleep forever, but make sure it's not an imitation. What you need to do to grab your Spinal pillow now with free delivery, just go to spinaleze.com.au. That's spinaleze.com.au. It'll change your life.
And I'm very pleased to announce that our new sales manager, because his car didn't break down with a flat battery, so he was able to make the final interview, is Matt.
When your car battery stops, that's when the problems start. Thankfully, RACV is on the road 24/7 to help. We come to you, and with our price match guarantee, we'll have your new battery fitted, usually within an hour. Call 13 11 11 or visit racv.com.au/batteries.
Designer Appliances are your premium kitchen appliance specialists. With all the best brands, we can help create stylish spaces, converting the kitchen into the heart of your home. Visit us at Camberwell, Heidelberg, Rosebud and Montana South, or browse online at designerappliances.com.au.
When the cravings hit you, how does a barbecue mega box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes please. Packed with a chicken burger with bacon, onion rings, barbecue sauce and sides. Get your barbecue mega box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club.
Coming up in just a few moments here on AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria Police apply now. It's a nice handy break for the Bulldogs at half-time. The other game going on, of course, around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. It is North Melbourne up against Geelong this afternoon. The update in that match at the moment, it is, if I can just find my score here. Here we go, 3-2-20, the Kangaroos, Geelong 2-4-16, and that is at quarter time at Blundstone Arena. So, Lippy, you talked about the Crows being a little bit vanilla with their ball use. They need to flip a few magnets here. What do they do structurally wise? How do they get back into this contest? Because they've found a way against the better teams this year. They've risen to the occasion. This is the toughest assignment, playing away from the Adelaide Oval against one of the benchmark teams.
Well, it's going to be a different quarter this quarter because they are kicking with a breeze, so that does change the play. I thought they did some good things in the first quarter when they used the corridor, middle part of the ground. Their first kick into the game, straight down the middle, bang, bang, goal. Then they switched the ball, used the corridor a few times and got opportunities in their forward 50. And then second quarter, fast forward, and against the breeze, they choked up. Now, that could be a coaching directive, and more likely is a coaching directive because they didn't look to really use that part of the game. So I'm probably expecting them now to use the corridor a bit more now that they've got that breeze and go back to their strategy or their first strategy. So let's hope they do, because I think they play more exciting footy when they do.
So Dogs with a 35-point advantage as the teams break here. Opening bounce coming up for Tyre Power. Selected Cooper four-wheel drive tyres, $100 off. We know that Collingwood and West Coast still intact as the twilight game this afternoon, and we'll keep you updated with developments throughout the day in terms of the teams stuck in Queensland as they manoeuvre and get on their bike to get to Melbourne, with possibly a Sunday smorgasbord of footy to come, all that to be confirmed throughout the day. So Bruce and Ugelhagen with the 2 goals apiece in the opening half. A nice spread for the Bulldogs on a very breezy day in Ballarat. We might get a little bit of inclement weather in the second half.
It looks a little threatening, doesn't it, BP?
It does. That sun is gone, which we saw for periods of the opening half. So we're ready to go. Going to be in a big battle so far between English and also Riley O'Brien in the middle, and the Dogs take a 35-point lead as English won the palm down, and the Crows kicking with the breeze in this third quarter, trying to extract it forward. Free kick to McRae. Advantage paid to Bailey Dale, who kicks a long high ball. Waitman competes in the air on this occasion. Berry had to stand between a few Bulldogs. He's taken to the ground and absolutely pummeled into the turf. Liberatore on one side and Garcia on the other. Couldn't get rid of that footy. O'Brien trying to put into space. Beautiful gathered by McRae. Just slapped on the left boot inside 50. Duday going back with the flight. Tackled there by Bruce. McPherson trying to spin out a tackle. He's pinned for holding the ball. And the Dogs will get the opening shot at goal to start the second half to Johannesson.
He's looked okay as a forward today, Johannesson. He gets opportunities in front of goal. He pressures up really well. And I think for him, this could be his long-term spot in the team. I think, he's been tried in so many different positions, Johannesson, in this team. But I think as a forward pressure player, it actually really suits him.
So this to get the Dogs off to the perfect start. He's kicked 1 goal in the opening half to stretch the margin out to 41 points. Those goal posts are blowing. So he'll start this one a little bit left to right. He worked it back. It sneaks in to that right-hand goal post to perfection. He's kicked his second. The Dogs out to a very handy 41-point lead. 10-9-69 to the Crows. 4-4-28. That is on the McDonald's scoreboard. Celebrate 50 years of Macca's. I'm loving it.
Again, at first, two good pressure plays there by the Doggies. One at the half-forward line and then inside their forward 50 creates the score. They've already started this quarter with great heat and intensity, Western Bulldogs. They look like they're on a mission.
It's a moving target, the goal front. It's very rare that you see that.
The goalpost move,
yeah.
Yes.
So the Dogs by 41 points. The Cats have kicked the first goal of the second term in Hobart to take the lead over North Melbourne. It's 3-5 to 3-3. AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks. Zero in back in the middle of Mars Stadium for the bounce as the ruckmen go to work. English taps it down to the side. Keys got off Bontempelli that time. Hand passes to Laird. Gave it to Seedsman off a wing and back to Sloan to get the kick away inside 50. It's out away from Tex and bounces further. Cordy did well to get a hand on it, keep it away from Himmelberg, and it'll be thrown in.
That's one matchup that's been okay. Keys on Bontempelli. He's only had the 9 Bont, which isn't a bad quarter, but Benny Keys doing a good job to restrict his influence.
45 out from the Adelaide goal. On the throw-in, Tex doing the ruck work. Liberatore doing the roving underneath. Hand passed it back into the skirmish. Led it, fed it out. Keys brought down in the tackle by Bailey Smith. It'll be a ball up on this occasion.
Free kick?
No, free kick. Bailey Smith gets the free kick. The other score we're keeping an eye on is the Hockey Roos, who are locked 0-0 with Argentina in the fourth quarter in Tokyo. Bailey Smith sets it up high, and as long as he can into the breeze, it's punched back almost all the way to half forward for the Crows. Daniel ever so strong over the footy. Hand pass inboard to Bontempelli, goes long to half forward. It pitched up into the clutches of McPherson, who got it away to McHenry in defence. To Duday, and then further along to Murray. He'll clear the area for the Crows out to Seedsman at left half back.
I think they're all back to the dead part of the ground again, the Crows.
Seedsman. It's a thumping right foot kick, as we know, over the head of O'Brien on that occasion, and Bailey Smith takes the mark. He runs off O'Brien. Gains some good meterage up the wing. Hugs the boundary line inside to Garcia, who felt the pressure late. English worked out a nice little handball. The pace of Johannesson. Long ball inside forward 50. Bruce one out with Nick Murray, who stands his ground nicely, trying to work a handball. He took a bit of high contact. And he will take the free kick here for the Crows. Spreads it wide to Butts. Butts will come off half back to McHenry, who goes inboard with the kick. It's a nicely weighted ball that finds Brodie Smith. Now Brodie Smith thumps the Sheeran inside 50. Himmelberg going back with a flight. Tex over the back, trying to gather. Got plenty of traffic, able to work a kick-off for Easton Wood. Tumbled one here, held it sit. Keys with a strong tackle on Bailey Dale. He brings him to the ground, appealing for holding the ball, and the umpire is going to come in and throw this one up. Only 20 metres out from the Crows' goal. Need one here, 41 points in arrears at the moment, early part of the third quarter. Laird lays a strong tackle and holds the ball up inside forward 50 here for the Adelaide Crows. Johannesson, the last to get up.
So the Crows kicked the goal in the opening minute of the second term, was their last major. Tex knocks it down. Laird underfoot, fires the kick out of the congestion, but there was no direction to it. And we're approaching double figures on the out of bounds on the Fulls.
It's on this side of the ground, which is very weird, Jared. Normally it's
unusual.
the far side of the ground that's getting most of the work out.
Easton Woods at the restart. He will kick beyond the defensive 50 and he stays on the near side. The milling pack heads in this direction and O'Brien takes the mark in the pack. That's a neat mark. Hangmytv.com.au because that's what they do. Straight back inside. They need a flyer. Fogarty goes up. Himmelberg knocks it to the back. It might work. Lynch is there. Snap didn't have enough on it. It flops into the goal square where it's intercepted by Bailey Dale, who goes.
He does. Handballs over the top to Smith. He's got Daniel on the inside. Works through the traffic. Holds onto the footy. And now delays the kick. Eventually kicks long. Murray dropped the mark, climbing over the top of Hannon. And then they get into a wrestle. That ball stops. Right on centre wing. 41 points the lead for the Dogs. McDonald's scoreboard. Celebrate with the Mac family at Macca's. I'm loving it. Windy conditions. Maybe some rain to come in the second half. They break from the stoppage. Bailey Smith links up with Daniel. Anthony Scott, Liberatore through the traffic, taking some high contact there from Rory Sloane. It'll be Libba's free kick.
So the Dogs are always looking to handball through the corridor, chain up through there and get a better entry inside 50. That's one thing Adelaide could do a little bit more, is just use that corridor a bit more.
Liberatore steers one in the direction of Johannesson, who's going to run off his mark. He'll keep it low towards half forward. There's a couple of options. Bruce was leading up and Hannon was also there and he took the mark. So Norton's deep in the square. And Hannon will go in that direction. Norton caught well behind on that occasion and O'Brien dropped back in the hole nicely and distributes to McPherson. They're away to Kelly at half-back.
Kelly clears the area. He's playing the far wing, but not as wide as they have been. Bailey Dale was favoured by the kick. Shackey lends a hand, but they won't get out as the tackles are pretty stern. And it'll be balled up on the logo. What's O'Brien up to for safety steel sheds?
He's been very good, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Riley O'Brien, he's had a terrific day.
He's in this ruck contest, which English will win, and O'Brien came over his shoulder. Liberatore was going to hair away and claim the advantage. The umpire calls the Dogs back. So it'll be English from the wing. He uses it short and a little wider to Bailey Smith. Hockeyroos have scored. They lead Argentina 1-0, 8.5 to go in Tokyo. Bailey Smith gives it all he's got into the wind. It sets up. Norton arrives. Pack collapsed. Free kick is paid. Just need a signal from the ump as to which way that's going. Adelaide free kick. Some hanging on happening in the pack, and it's McPherson who's able to come away with it. Yes, clearly against Garcia.
It's been an uninspiring start to this quarter, hasn't it? There's ugly, long down the lines. There's been skill errors. There's been all sorts of things. And Adelaide don't look like they're going to score either, the way they're playing. And they've actually got a really good breeze going their way.
A short ball to Duday. Came across his defensive goal to Nick Murray. The radar on that one is off. Out of bounds on the full.
What number is that, Jared?
That's 11.
We couldn't even up both sides of the ground by game's end because the majority have been on that far side. So Anthony Scott's ball right in front of the interchange for Spitwater. That's what it does. All towards half forward. Berry tackled here by Norton. Locks up the footy. Ball stops. So 55 from the Bulldogs goal. In the box seat here, 41 points their lead. A little deflection there from English. Bontempelli tracks it to the boundary line. Berry a little boot on it. It's just staying in, and now Hunter takes a foot over. So we'll go from the boundary throw in.
McRae might have got a bit of a finger twister as he's smothering that ball. I think he looks okay.
So you can hear the voices around Mars Stadium. English, beautiful palm. Little bit of space. Daniel tracked it nicely. Handballs to Bontempelli, to Bailey Smith on his non-preferred left. He's trying to curl it back to keep it in play. Good mark taken by McPherson. Deep in defence here for the Adelaide Crows. 10-9-69 the Dogs. The Crows 4-4-28 for McDonald's. Celebrate 50 years of Macca's. I'm loving it.
McPherson has stood against the flow on numerous occasions in this term. He's having the big moments, confident stopping Bendix breaks. Long on the way out, O'Brien flew at the pack. Himmelberg knocks it on. McHenry trying to spin out. He needs help. He gets it. Schoenberg kicks the Crows inside 50. It tumbles to the back, but Bailey Dale's going to beat the Crow attacker to it as Fogarty was left a fraction for flat-footed. Dale's good with his kick to Williams. Sweeps the hand pass forward to Daniel. On the near side, hemmed in on the boundary. He's looking for a kick-in board. He bit off too much. He kicked it straight to Himmelberg. So the Crows with a promising chance at right half forwards. Himmelberg's been called to whack it in and give Tex a look at it. He doesn't. He plays it a little wider of goal. Rowe with a hand pass to McHenry. Hand pass to Schoenberg. They're going to kick away. Back to McHenry, who's just invited the pressure. They just wouldn't take a shot at goal. McRae's dinking kick wasn't much good, although it ran through Jones. Bruce lends a hand down in defence, and he forces the stalemate. It'll be balled up 40 out from the Crows' goal. It's the Dogs by 41.
Probably sums up the Crows a little bit, that play. Really trying really hard, but just not classy enough to get the finish.
Inside 50 for Adelaide. Liberatore trying to get to McRae. Berry just kept it alive inside the boundary line. It's all Dogs parked deep in defence. Bailey Dale, he'll come across his defensive goal. Needs to be hit. Hannon here, almost the intercept for Seedsman. Still alive for the Crows. Himmelberg tackled. Cordy, not a convincing handball. Rowe digs in. He's brought to ground. Ball stops. 30 out from the Crows' goal.
It's just such hard work for the Crows, isn't it? Every score they've had today has been a grind and nothing's coming easy.
So Walker will go up against Bruce, who won the tap. Josh Bruce. McRae fed a nice little underneath handball to Hannon. Links up with Bontempelli. Goes on the non-preferred right. Don't see that often. Big fist in from Nick Murray against Hugo Hagen over the boundary line. Kills that footy. We'll have it tossed in. Centre wing.
There's been some good signs from the Adelaide Keys, like we've mentioned today. Nick Murray does some good things as well at times. Big, strong lad. They're a pretty young group, the Adelaide Crows, on every line. So they've got to get better with every year.
Yeah, preferred him to Billy Frampton today in selection this week. Liberatore will get it from the stoppage. Bailey Dale provides the run and dash off half-back. Gets through the traffic, and then the poise on the right boot. Hannon will take the mark on the wing for the Bulldogs.
Hannon casts his eyes forwards and to the side to see what the best options into the breeze are. He wheels out onto the left boot and gets under it, so it's got to be dealt with in the air. And doing well from the side for the Crows was Duday. That mode of attack into the breeze has been not much chop this afternoon.
Not even no mark play on there, no take the game on, and really slow and stagnant.
Duday launches it long down the line. He's carried Tex and he's delivered it straight to Shaki.
It just makes it so much easier for the Western Bulldogs back. So as a defender, when the opposition are moving it slow, you love it. You don't have to defend too hard. You get your breath back. So every contest you have, you're at full ability. So Adelaide just have to really test out the Doggies' defence and take the game on a little bit more. 4
intercept marks for Shaki for safety steal sheds. He went long down the line where McRae ended up throwing the ball and was knocked off for it. Seedsman, with the couple of jumpers on, gets himself moving. He gets under it. He sends it high in. It gets onto the breeze. Williams made the spoil. Cordy's there at the back. He fumbled it straight into the path of Tex. Cordy laid the tackle to avert the danger. Ball it up deep forward for the Crows. They are searching for a goal. Something on which to build. 41 points the wrong side of it. Tex knocks it out to the side for Keys. Got the boot on it. Floats it near the teeth of goal. Himmelberg read it well in the air and takes the marker over the top of Shaki.
It was a good grab, wasn't it? Just a forward 50 sort of scrounging type play and a really good contested mark, really good individual effort there by Himmelberg.
So a quarter and a half without a goal for the Crows. Elliot Himmelberg close in. He's kicking for his second and he squeezes it in. He didn't leave much margin for error, but through she goes. A couple for Himmelberg. It's a 35-point lead the Dogs' way. 5-4-34 Adelaide. 10-9-69 the Dogs on the McDonald's. Celebrate 50 years of Macca's I'm Loving It scoreboard. There's 9.5 minutes to go in this term on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
Well, there's no honking of the horns for the Adelaide shots of goal. It mustn't be too many Adelaide supporters in the car surrounding the ground, but really just a good contested footy win by Benny Keys and then supplied a one-on-one contest to Himmelberg. It's probably the one part of Shaki's game he struggled today, the genuine one-on-one. He's been beaten now.
A couple of times.
He's won a few himself, but just won a few standing under the footy himself. So that's probably a growth area of his game.
Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. The Cats lead the Kangaroos by a point down at Blundstone Arena, 4-5-29 to 4-4-28. So got about 9 minutes to play until half-time. Ball back in the middle. Himmelberg up against English, who won the tap. Laird able to get it in his hands first. Keys slapped on the boot quickly towards half forward. Loose ball here for Murphy. Nice handball to the running Jones. He lowers the eyes. Hits Fogarty lace out. Great transition from the Crows to try now to get the finish.
They look more dangerous from centre square bounce than any other part of their game, Adelaide Crows. Whenever they get that nice dynamic ball out of the middle, they actually do look dangerous, but unfortunately the ball doesn't start there all too often in the game, but really good movement. Fogarty gets another shot on goal.
So tough angle at right half forward. There's trees and the goalposts are flowing in the breeze. 45-degree angle. Need his best kick from here. Darcy Fogarty trying to bring it back from right to left, but it stays out to that right-hand side. For a behind for McDonald. Celebrate 50 years of Macca's. I'm loving it. 10-9-69 the Dogs. The Crows 5-5-35.
He's kicked one goal too, Fogarty, for safety steel sheds. Bailey Dale out of the goal square and then a searing low ball to Rourke Smith, which worked a treat. So Smith's job to find the way out. He lays it off to the side and passes the baton to Bailey Williams. Has a look up ahead of the footy. It's the kick to a contest. It carries Bruce initially. English was the flyer. Hand pass shot out from a Dog's perspective near Bailey Smith. His hand pass didn't find a teammate. There's an illegal tackle laid on Murphy. The Crows threatened to take the advantage. The umpires called them back. It wasn't going to pan out for a moment, and then it suddenly was. But it's back with Murphy, who gives the wraparound hand pass to McPherson, who lets fly right to the teeth of goal. It's touched on the last line by Cordy. And through for a behind. 34 points. Make it 33 as that one sails through for McDonald. Celebrate 50 years of Macca's. I'm loving it.
So Bailey Dale to come out of his defensive goal square again here. Runs some good meterage, and then it was a good mark out. Stretch mark there from Easton Wood. Just inside the boundary line at half-back. Have you seen his game, Leper? He's missed a fair bit of footy this year.
Yeah, he hasn't had a big influence on the game, but the things he has done, he's done very well, of course.
And that holds up and beautifully weighted ball, well read in the air by Jamara Ugelhagen. Took a nice mark. So Ugelhagen can see a runner coming past. It was Bailey Dale, but he cut back inside and missed the target of Dunkley in the end. That allows the Crows in here. Rowe took it from Sloane. High ball towards half forward. Fogarty just caught out of position. The Dogs swoop on the loose ball at half back. As Bailey Williams spreads it wide to Bailey Dale. To Bailey Smith. Coming up for disposal, number 24 for Safety Steel Sheds. And he hits up Hannon. They work their way through the defence here, the Dogs. Back into the heart of Mars Stadium to Bailey Williams. So Williams will drive it inside forward 50. Liberatore between a couple of Crows in the end has taken the mark.
It was just way too easy, wasn't it, really? They just played around with the ball and got Leaper on his own inside 50. Good kick by Bailey Williams, but if you're a Crows support, he'd be wondering, how did he even get all that space on his own? Such a crowded 50.
So Tom Liberatore will run out in that little left arc, trying to bring it back, but it drifts right across goal here. Chance for Bontempelli, competed in the air. It was fisted away. Sloan was able to gather. Schomburg kicks towards Lynch, just over his head. A comfortable spoil for Easton Wood. And they'll build again, the Dogs. Bailey Daly just concedes a bit of ground back to Williams. Back to Dale, who lowers the eyes nicely to half forward to Liberatore. And he'll lower the eyes again. Good ball to Garcia. We know, though, this is a tough kick into the breeze, as we saw that last kick. Talk about the composition, Leper, of this Bulldogs team. He's a young man who's trying to lock himself into this team. No certainty, as there are a lot of good players to come back late in the year. Never looked like it, just hangs up in the air. O'Brien competes. Bruce was down there as well. Butts was competing pretty hard. O'Brien trying to storm his way through the traffic. Ball stops about 20 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal.
Yeah, you talk about the names that can come back in. Also, for the Doggies, there's quite a few. Obviously, Alex Keith's in there, but Ed Richards, Taylor Giroux managed today. So, yeah, it's going to be hard for guys like Garcia to keep their spot in this team.
Yep.
And every one of these moments is just another bit of evidence for Bevo to keep them into their September launch.
Hockey Roos beat Argentina 2-0 to run the table in the pool stage at the Olympics. We're just lurching from stoppage to stoppage, 20 metres out from the Dogs' goal. They have a 33-point lead for McDonald's. Celebrate 50 years of Macca's. I'm loving it. O'Brien and English, they might each have had a swipe at that, but it disappeared underfoot. This is really for the tough nuts for happytints.com.au.
We know also Bevo often can fiddle with the team every now and again if he doesn't like one and another. So sometimes through those last 3 or 4 spots, he's happy to change if you're not on peak condition.
The kick squeezed out defensively, and it gave the Dogs a fresh angle to work with. Scott to Bailey Smith from Setterfield. He pulls the kick wide to half forward. It's worked. Rourke Smith leads up to take the mark. Thought about the hand pass to Waitman gliding by. Instead, he brings the kick inboard. Bailey Smith had to stand and wait. Sloan crunched in. Bailey Smith, though, on the follow-up was good stuff. Hand pass to Cordy. Looks for the way inside 50. Plays it in the Ugle-Hagen direction, but he's comprehensively marked by Duday in defence for the Crows.
So Bulldogs comfortably here by 33 points as Duday will hug the boundary line. Murphy got up, tried to claim the mark. Cordy at the drop did nicely across to Liberatore. Just to lay it off by hand. He delayed the handball. Hunter fed it underneath. All the left footers involved. How about the kick from Bontempelli? It skids into Waitman, who's threw it on the boot, trying to curl it back towards goal. Hannon going back with a flight. Great contest there with Duday in the air. And punched through for a behind.
It's a good little intro to how clean Cody Waitman is at ground level. Just to be able to pick it up quickly and snap it onto his boot, almost in the same motion. He's a real talent, isn't he?
10-10, 70 to 5, 6:36. Dogs by 34 points.
So thumping kick in right into the centre of the ground. Himmelberg represented for the Crows and Keys was underneath. Hand pass to Laird. He pulls the kick out to half forward to nobody in particular. In fact, you'd be lucky to get away with that. That's straight to the boundary. And I'm amazed that is sufficient intent to keep the ball in play. Berry's been bandaged up. He's been bleeding from the nose. Spitwater high pressure cleaners. Tools, not toys, Aussie tough. Right half forward for the Crows. At the throw in, O'Brien a tap. Down to Schoenberg. Knocked off his feet. To Seedsman, to Laird, and back to Seedsman. Brushing his way clear. Couldn't get full momentum. His kick is across the face of goal. It eludes Fogarty and is out of play. In the left forward pocket.
Yeah, this is exactly the position they scored their last goal, in the left forward pocket. So let's see whether Adelaide can get the same result.
Justin Lepich for car sales, everything you ought to know. 3 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third term. The Makita rule the outdoors clock. It's a slogging affair in Ballarat. At the throw-in, English knocked it down to the front. It was kicked out of mid-air by Sloan. It reached the goal square. The Dogs had numbers back, though. Shacky's hand pass to Daniel, who was wrapped up in the tackle of Murphy. It'll be balled up now in the right forward pocket, BP.
He did well not to get in his back there, Lockie Murphy, because he could have just really given away pushing the back, but rolled him really well.
So a chance here for the Crows. Daniel fed it out to Garcia. And they break here. Murray a good spoil on Ugle-Hagan. Off hands, out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Geelong lead the Kangaroos by 8 points. 5-6, 36 to 4-4 28 around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day, heading towards half-time down in Tassie. O'Brien and English, who plucked it out of the air and just worked a little ball towards half-back, had it under all sorts of pressure. Now the gather by Seedsman, who just kicked really and hoped forward, and it was all the Dogs just parked around half-back. Bailey Dale, what an impressive year he's having.
Oh, he's sort of in the conversations, isn't he? What a move he has. He's got a lot of potent skills for a half-back flanker. He's got the height and range to be good as a defender. He's got great run. He's also got a really long and damaging kick of the ball. So he's got all the talents to be a really good half-back, that's for sure.
Distribute to Bailey Smith, the man with the most touches. He's 27th for safety steel sheds. Worked it to the wing. Garcia laid it off to McRae. By foot, Hannon to Hunter on his left side. The fumble. Ledge sweating on him, was able to dispossess him. They could have been away then, the Dogs. Then the Crows start their build off half-back.
Schoenberg with the kick. He wanted Fogarty, who took hold of Wood because he'd conceded front position, and Easton Wood a bit too wily for him. Wood sweeps a hand pass to Dale on the bump, so he had a little bit of trouble getting hold of it. And it's a short kick as a result to Daniel, and no real momentum. He's out in front of the interchange gates for Quick As They Know Freight, quickhours.com.au. Gets himself moving, running the contour of the boundary. Daniel kicks in the Norton direction. Over the top came O'Brien. He takes yet another, he breaks down yet another build-up from the Dogs.
He has been good, hasn't he? He's defending those long down the line targets. He's sort of doing his job in those plays.
Himmelberg attacked the pack down the line and took the mark, but not before there was a free kick at the front of it. Johannesson paid it. Hand pass to Daniel. The Dogs from halfway just caressed the kick up to English. 2 kicks out from goal. Maybe with the way the wind is, 3 kicks. English is going to play it wide up toward the 50 for Hunter. He won't be within range as he goes back. Last minute of the term. Hunter signals his intentions to go for broke. This would defy everything that we've seen at this end of the ground. Lockie Hunter, he sets it up to the teeth of goal instead. Ugle-Hagan, free run, should have marked, kicked out of midair by Scott, and it hits the post.
Great set play, wasn't it? It looked like they were ready to go, and Ugle-Hagan got the front spot and got his hands on the ball, but just dropped it at the last second.
Yeah, clearly should have marked it. 35 points. What happened, Lipper?
Bit of friendly fire for the Adelaide Crows. It was Jake Kelly kicking the head. I think it was Ben Keys.
It might have been, I think it was Butts, maybe.
Was it Butts?
Yeah, he got one. Bailey Dale sends the Dogs back forward. Garcia, Jamari Ugle-Hagan drops another mark. Foot of the footy there was Dunkley, but Murray will cut across his path. Right on 3/4 time. The Dogs still leading it comfortably here, as Butts is a little worse for wear on the interchange for Quick As They Know Freight, quickhours.com.au. It's the Bulldogs, Jared, holding sway by 35 points.
10-11, 71 the Dogs, 5-6, 36 the Crows. The goal kickers, 2 for Bruce, 2 for Ugle-Hagan and 2 for Johannesson. There are singles to Liberatore, Norton, Daniel and English, while Himmelberg has 2 for the Crows, with singles to Lynch, Rowe and Fogarty. In Hobart, it is the Cats by 8 points at half-time, 5-6, 36 to North Melbourne, 4-4, 28. Last quarter coming up on AFL Nation for Bendix, the best-known breaks for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria Police. Supply now.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. Celebrate with the Mac family at Macca's. I'm loving it.
Upgrade to the latest 5G phones at Optus and get the best price guaranteed. Don't miss out on your new phone. T&C apply. Visit Optus online today.
Every interview and every show. Listen to the podcast now. Just click the catch-up button on the SEN app.
Tyre Power buying power gives you the power to buy better during their best buys on big brand sale. Like this best buy on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a great range of Falcon passenger car tyres. Plus more best buys on big brands at Tyre Power. Canstar Blues Customer Satisfaction Award winner again. Tyre Power's best buys on big brand sale is on now. Visit tyrepower.com.au to view or call 13 21 91 for your local owner-operator.
Just because of those colder wintry nights, watching footy with mates outside under the pergola doesn't have to stop. Install Zip-Track blinds with Cameron's Blinds and Awnings before the end of July and receive a heater to keep you warm all footy season. Terms and conditions apply. Book now at cameronsblinds.com.au.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
And here's your local safety steel expert, Shady Creek Engineering. You'll find all your steel needs here. Garages, carports, massive warehouses, barns, farm sheds, whatever your project or development, get onto your local safety steel agent, Jeff Young, today. Shady Creek Engineering. Call Jeff on 0428 649 449.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
Ilma Shady Creek Road, Ilma North.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. It's the same with your super. Because if you're with Host Plus, you're the super fund with a history of long-term top performance. Host Plus, we go with you.
This is general advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS available at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Designer Appliances are your premium laundry appliance specialists. With all the best brands, we can help create functional spaces, converting your laundry into a practical paradise. Visit us at Camberwell, Heidelberg, Rosebud and Wantirna South, or browse online at designerappliances.com.au.
When the cravings hit you, how does a Ripper Mega Box from Red Rooster sound? Mega yes, please. Packed with a Ripper Roll, 2 buttermilk wings, chips, mash and gravy, and a drink. Get your Ripper Mega Box now at Red Rooster. The Rooster's calling.
Bedmatch at 40 Winks takes the confusion out of buying a bed. And right now, get any size mattress for the price of a single. That's a queen, king or super king mattress for the price of a single. But hurry, ends Sunday. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
At Underworks, we're experts in socks. We test our all-day socks for comfort with cushioned soles that stay comfy all day long. Test Underworks all-day socks for yourself. We're number one down under for socks.
Certainty is a great feeling, and that's the feeling you get with Toyota certified pre-owned vehicles. Because they come with a full service history, 90-point inspection and independent background check. And right now, eligible models also come with an exclusive finance offer with Toyota Access. See your local dealer or search Toyota certified. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Approved applicants only. T's and C's apply. Max finance term of 48 months. Offer ends 31/08/2021. Toyota Finance Australia Limited. AFSL and Australian Credit Licence 392536.
Not sure who can best take care of your European car? Your local Repco authorised service centre is fully qualified to provide logbook servicing on all popular European cars. With access to the most up-to-date information and training, and backed by a nationwide warranty, you can relax knowing that taking good care of your pride and joy is our pride and joy. Book in or book online at repcoservice.com.
You're listening to AFL Nation for the Beaumont Tiles Trade Club. Loose change menu. $1.50 custard pies are back.
The Dogs will get the opening shot at goal to start the second half to Johannesson. So he'll start this one, a little bit of left to right. He worked it back. It sneaks in.
So a quarter and a half without a goal for the Crows. Elliot Himmelberg close in. He's kicking for his second, and he squeezes it in. He didn't leave much margin for error, but through she goes. Dogs by 35. The highlights for McDonald's. Celebrate with the Mac family at Macca's. I'm loving it. Not a whole lot to tell in that third term, Lipper.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ugly quarter. It's been a bit of an ugly game at times. A lot of out of bounds on the full, like we've mentioned. Highly contested game. A lot of repeat stoppages. So whenever you see a game and it's a ball up, stop, and then it's 3 seconds later it's another stoppage, and then 3 seconds later it's another stoppage. It's sort of been that sort of game. So it's probably hard to call for you guys. It's also hard to sort of comment on all the things going on because there actually hasn't been a lot of great plays and a lot of great moments within the game.
Justin Lepich for Car Sales, everything you ought to know. Opening bounce to the final turn for Tyre Power. Always win with the free 5-minute tyre safety check. Dogs come home with a win and a 35-point lead. Nothing definitive from the ruck work. Sloan and Bontempelli are after it. Bontempelli lays the tackle, dispossesses Stone. Sloan. Towed forward by O'Brien, cut off by Daniel. He hand passes it to English. Expansive hand pass out the near side. Rourke-Smith tried to get it on to Dunkley. The Crows were having none of it. Schoenberg, O'Brien combines. Sloan has a go and McHenry on the near wing. He guides them up to half forward. Fogarty ran past the footy. Himmelberg's the next man in line though. He gets it away to Berry. Kept himself free enough to lob it to the 50, but there it is shut down as Anthony Scott goes to work in defence. He gives it to Daniel, who guides the Dogs through centre field. Johannesson links it up. Scott on the overlap. Gives it to Bontempelli. He's got McRae as the outlet runner. He just balks his kick up at half forward and resets. Places it wide for Wakeman. It'll be a difficult shot with the way the wind is. He's certainly within range. A couple of steps inside the 50.
This is the one you got to aim for the far point post. For this shot at goal. But terrific transition there by the Western Bulldogs. One thing they do better than most teams in the competition is just that handball game and ability to get past the man on the mark. They do it brilliantly.
Cody Waitman, you need a good caddy in these moments. He sliced that badly, so it's out near the far behind post and stayed there. And O'Brien, as it fell in short, takes the mark in the defensive goal square.
Off to Brodie Smith by hand. Launching ball outside defensive 50. Good body work there by Tex Walker. Takes the mark between half-back and wing. Steers it inside to Himmelberg. They can move it on further afield. Spreads a little further to the wing. To Lynch. Dogs by 35 points. As they keep possession here, the Adelaide Crows. A little short ball into Seedsman. He's going to link up by hand with Duday. They run the boundary line on the far side. Lynch over the top to Berry. All bandaged up. Berry ran out of room in the end, took a foot over the boundary line as they crept towards half forward, the Crows.
That's probably the difference in the two teams right there. Adelaide, when they try that handball game, they just look really clunky and not as smooth. And the Dogs, when they do it, they're just always getting their teammate or the receiver out into open space.
Plus 55 uncontested possessions for the Dogs. All on the safety steel stat sheet. And it's off hands again. We'll have it thrown in. Half forward for Adelaide. 10-11-71 the Bulldogs. The Crows 5-6-36. Cats by 8 points over the Kangaroos. Half time at Blundstone Arena thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Looks like David McKay warming up on the Quick Hours interchange bench. They know freightquickhours.com.au. So the medical sub to be called into the fray. Nothing from the stoppage as McRae was dragged down by Berry.
Could be Butts, was it? It's Jones.
It is, actually. Yeah.
45 from the Adelaide goal. And again, there will be nothing to tell as Laird took possession and Bailey Smith wrapped him up. Balled up again, O'Brien, the backhander, out near Sloan. Enough interference around him to make sure he couldn't get it. Lynch kicked to the top of the square. Was Himmelberg held? The umpire said yes. That Cordy had hold of Himmelberg on the way in. And the Crows at full forwards will get it. Chase Jones is having the big ice pack strapped to the right thigh.
Himmelwood has done some good things down there, hasn't he, today in the contest? He's been pretty good.
Lining up for his third. Close in. Himmelberg bangs it into the left-hand post.
Matty.
Yeah, Matty Nix has just left cursing the footy gods. It's a tough watch. Victoria Police Supply now scoreboard. They're down by 34.
So Daniel comes out of his defensive goal square, gets those legs jugging long towards Bruce, who's the marking target on the wing. As quick as that, the Bulldogs now with the second kick will be in their forward half. Norton tracking back towards goal. He worked off Butts. Can the Sharon sit up? McPherson right on his hammer. He pulled him off his kick. Great defence. And it goes through off the hands of Seedsman for a rush behind.
Yeah, desperate defence, wasn't it? It was terrific. Great chase. Should have been a nice, easy goal by Norton, but yeah, just didn't give up at all, McPherson, and staved what looked to be an easy goal for the Doggies.
That's the tackle of the game for Toro. For home ground advantage, count on Toro. Long on the way out from Seedsman, amounted to nothing. It's out of play, and Norton's just a little worse for wear. And that was how Pendlebury ended up breaking his leg, that sort of run-down tackle. Just it all got caught up underneath as we get a look at the replay. He's kicked the back of his left ankle as he went down. So fingers crossed for Aaron Norton. We'll keep an eye on him. Free kick from the ruck contest, was it?
Brad Scott actually broke his own leg doing that one day.
That's right.
A very long time ago. Missed the third grand final. Nice.
For Spitwater, that's what it does. It's a Dogs free kick up at the stoppage. McRae launches it to the teeth of goal. Norton pushed the pack, and I don't think he can do that. Not quite so blatantly as McHenry stood his ground in front. McNaughton threw the footy into him.
His face.
That was Butts. Well, yeah, just pushed him clean in the back to give it up. And a bit of what for in the aftermath.
So Butts' free kick sends it very, very wide. Scott got hands to it. Shrugging off the tackle there was Lockie Hunter. Dogs go back inside 50. Tough one to trap down low for Waitman. Bontempelli in vicinity. Garcia as well. He can straighten up on the right. Garcia has a ping. It's a good ping. Right through the middle. And there's the horns. They're all in unison together. And the Dogs with a nice goal. Breaking from another stoppage. 11-12-78. The Crows 5-7-37 on the Victoria Police Supply Now scoreboard.
Yeah, just a front half turnover game there. Just a scunge kick back inside 50, and Dogs just got to work. Won the contested footy, and a really good finish by Garcia. 45 metres out, directly in front, pretty much. Almost a snapping type action. And, he's a good little player, isn't he? He does a lot well. He pressures well. Good at ground level, and he's nice and clean. So he's trying to keep his way in this team, isn't he?
Yep.
For that September run.
He's made it a 2-dog race for the goal of the game. Instant windscreens 1-3-2 triple for Garcia and Daniel. There's a few patrons who have wandered down here to be outside the Cyclone fences as well and have a look-see. Dogs by 39. English rises high in the ruck. Taps it down to McRae. Coughed it up though to Sloane. Crows kick it wide out to half forward. It pitched and bounced over the head initially of Anthony Scott. He got back onto it, then he was brought down by Lynch. He's lying on top of the footy, and that'll be holding the ball.
I think he might have hurt himself here.
Oh, yes, he has.
Grabbed at his knee early.
Grabbed at the left knee for Spitwater. That's what it does. Short kick to Murphy as the Crows build their attack. He sweeps the hand pass to Seedsman from 50 out. He caressed it to the top of the goal square. They fly from all angles. Underneath, McHenry tried to run in. Tex got hold of it and snapped the goal. It's been a tough day for Taylor Walker, but he gets one in the final term. And the Crows cut the margin back to 33 as the Dogs have their medical concerns on the field. 6-7-43 to the Dogs, 11-12-78 on the Victoria Police Supply Now scoreboard. There's 15 minutes to play in the match on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
Yeah, good contest there in the air and on the ground. Then McHenry put a nice hit on Josh Shackey to a ground level for the ball spill to Taylor Walker and gets that nice easy shot. As you said, Jared, he's had a really quiet day. Taylor Walker hasn't really had any influence at all on the game, but it's good for him to get something late.
So plenty of game time left in this final quarter as Anthony Scott makes his way off the ground. Let's have a look at the replay here as he went to ground and that left.
He fell back on his left leg late.
Yep.
Jackknifed on it, didn't he?
Yeah. It's often that syndesmosis look does that. It's when you squeeze back under your leg.
We'll keep an eye on that for Spitwater. That's what it does on the boundary line. Crows will get a free kick and win it out of the middle. Sloane turns and goes. Himmelberg trying to climb from behind. Murphy was in a great spot to Crump. Can he curl it back on the left? That is a ripper. Great goal from Lockie Murphy. That is a contender for the instant windscreens. 1-3-2, 4-4 goal of the game. Rove the pack beautifully, and the Crows get a couple.
Well, we said the best part of their games is centre square clearance transition. They did it again. So the beauty about a goal from centre bounce, he comes back, you get the chance to do it all over again. So hopefully they can just keep this going for the next 14 and a half minutes, the Crows, and they win the game. So it is no doubt the best part of what they've been doing today. Really clean and efficient out of those centre breaks.
Justin Leppich, spot value with price indicators on car sales. Back to 27 points. It was the middle stages of the second term when it was this close. The Dogs have kicked it out as far as 41, and then there's been a lot of marking of time in between. But a flurry from the Crows. They've got two in a row. They get a fresh look in the middle. Josh Bruce is doing the ruck work, so O'Brien will be advantaged here. Good straight bounce to work with. O'Brien wins the tap. Sloane onto the footy. In the tackle, he squeezed a kick away. O'Brien on the follow-up. Dribbled it up towards the half-forward position, cut off by Williams for the Dogs. Out to Daniel, creative hand pass to Liberatore. Kicks up the channel. Mark to Garcia or the drag of the arms, take your pick. Garcia with ball in hand. McRae wants it desperately out to his left. He's going to go more direct, not more effective though. Liberatore couldn't mark. He gives the hand pass out to Dale. Dale tries to set the Dogs to the forward pocket. That's a nice kick, and Hunter takes the mark.
They drifted down from that wing position. Hunter got forward and then got a nice little easy anchor test the mark inside 50. So it's a real centre break game at this point in time, as it was at the start of the second quarter.
Lockie Hunter with most of his disposals, kicking it in after it's gone out on the full. This is a shot at goal in the right forward pocket. He's measured up the angles, plenty of daylight between the posts, and he has worked the breeze perfectly. Started it at the right-hand post and fed it in. Dogs bump it back out to 33 points as they post their 12th goal. 12-12 to 7-7 on the Victoria Police scoreboard. Victoria Police is recruiting now. Search Police Careers.
Well, you're never going to keep the Dogs down for too long, are you? One thing that they're pretty good at is centre square bounce themselves, and if they get these opportunities, they tend to score. So, as the start of the second quarter did, it was goal for goal from centre square bounce, and now it is again at this period of the game. And Lockie Hunter drifting forward from the wing gets his opportunity and scores. Beautiful kick, using that breeze to cut back in.
So Dogs back out by 35. In the game that they've had under control for a large chunk of this match. Plenty of game time left. It's top of the table, the Western Bulldogs. It'll be O'Brien and Bruce to go at it. O'Brien won the tap. Sharked here by McRae. Handball out to Bruce. Light little handball to Daniel, to Bruce through the traffic, conceding a bit of ground. Little kick across his body, which was really effective, to Easton Wood. Away to Bailey Dale, who drills it low and quick through the air to Garcia. So Garcia between wing and half forward on the grandstand side here. Just measures a nice little short one to Daniel. Trying to thread their way through here, Lipper.
They're just conscious of O'Brien sitting back in the hole. They just don't want to bomb it long down his throat again.
In short to Bruce. So Bruce, 75 from home. A fair breeze to kick with. Josh Bruce. And there might be, there's a free kick here. It's been reversed. It's going to come back to the Crows. We'll try and get a look at what that was for. It's going to go to McPherson, who was dealt with. So the Crows get it back in their hand to Laird. McPherson waxing it here. Then McPherson lost his footing and got himself into trouble. Cut off by Hannon. Back to Bruce, who kicks the Bulldogs inside forward 50. Norton the target, and a shove out. It'll go the way of Norton. It's against Butts in that aerial contest. It'll be an Aaron Norton ball here to line up 45 out directly in front.
It did impede his run a little bit on the way up. It didn't look like there was a much in it apart from that. Obviously, the umpire has a better view on the ground, but Aaron Norton gets his chance. It's been a good battle with Norton and Butts today. It's not like Norton's dominated the game. He's actually a really good player, young Butts, I think, and he's got a bit of a future there as a young key defender for the Crows.
No doubt. He and young Murray, a couple of defenders for the future. Norton, that short run up, it's a part of his game that has still got the work to do there. That one just sneaking in for a behind. That is on the Victorian Police Supply Now scoreboard. It's 36 points the lead here for the Dogs.
Butts marks the kick in. He plays the dead wing again. Sets it up high and wide and watches it float and float. O'Brien flew. It's jarred out of his grasp and out of play. He has been called on to take many a contested mark this afternoon. Riley O'Brien, hangmiketv.com.au, because that's what they do. That time just too many against him. Boundary thrown at half forward for the Dogs. Hannon's the sacrificial lamb in the ruck.
Wow.
He puts the body into O'Brien and offloaded him. He did very well. He might get that job permanently. Liberatore, as a result, was able to kick it up into the forward pocket. No mark for Norton. It's out of play.
Yeah, you got to be very careful how well you do jobs you don't want to do, because what they'll do that, coaches. They'll go, oh, you're back in there a weekend, and you're like, oh, really? I don't want to do that anymore.
Dogs in the forward pocket as a result. 34-point margin. Hannon to contest against O'Brien. Hannon worked his way to the front, kept O'Brien away from it, did well, didn't give away the free kick. Schoenberg through the pack, coughed it up. Ugle-Hagan had a fling at goal. So he has kicked. He's missed it to the near side. He's kicked 2 goals, 1, and he's dropped a set of marks on the flowing lead on the way out. So he'll be the MEGT Rookie of the Day for sure, and certain your local apprenticeship experts. But he's left a bit on the table. 35 points the margin.
So McPherson back into play here for the Crows. Clears the back 50 with the kick. O'Brien the spoil there on English, and then Lockie Hunter and McHenry in a tangle at ground level. Ball stops.
Yeah, here's that play with Ugle-Hagan. It's kind of like, I can't wait to be there that day he does kick 6, 7, 8 goals. You know, he has that breakout game because he's got such electric talent.
It's going to come. Laird trying to get out of the clutches of Bailey Smith, and that is a task that he couldn't complete.
John, tomorrow's fixture. This is out of Fox, Tom Morris. 12:10 Gold Coast Melbourne Marvel, 2:10 Hawthorn Brisbane Launceston, 3:10 Essendon Sydney MCG, 5:10 Fremantle Richmond Optus, 6:10 Giants Port Adelaide Marvel. Everyone please report for work.
Digest all that. Ball towards half forward, out of bounds, let it thrown in. Dogs end.
It does make it hard when your job is to comment on the game, I must say, when you're flicking through channels to give it a bit of an accurate description, isn't it? Well, I watched 6 minutes of that game, I watched 8 minutes of that game, and I watched 1/4 of that game.
Well, once upon a time, it was all footy on a set day.
Well, someone should set up the around the grounds, BP.
Exactly. It was looking at the old scoreboards, A and B, C and D, E and F, and you were checking the scores right throughout. Might come back tomorrow. There's Berry at ground level. Murphy. Keys through the traffic, run off half-back, provided by the Crows. They just coughed it up, though, by hand. Back in the hands of Rourke Smith, who hits Jamara Ugle-Hagan lace out for a shot at goal.
It was probably their best build-up too, the Crows from the half-back line. They had 3 or 4 linking hands and then one mistake. If that last handball hits, the Crows are away. They're probably running through the centre part of the ground, kicking a goal. But when you make a mistake in the centre-back part of your ground, it's only one possession back in for a mark. So it's a diabolical mistake if it goes wrong.
So 2 goals, 1 he's returned. Jamara Ugle-Hagan, plenty of the uprights to look at here, and he's hooked it, trying to bring it back a long, long way. Started way out. Hannon's taken the mark. Was he just over? No, it's been paid. Although, yeah, it's been paid. Right on the line, he's taken that mark. So deep in the right forward pocket. He can take a couple of steps out and curl this back on the left. Mitch Hannon. And he hits the post for a behind. 12-15-87 the Dogs. Adelaide 7-7-49. Victoria Police recruiting now search police careers.
AFL Nation for Bendix, the best known breaks for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria Police Supply now this afternoon. Kick-in was short from McPherson to Duday.
It's the anomaly of our game, isn't it? If you take a mark right on the goal line, it can go to a goal review. If you're half a metre to the right of the point post, out of bounds, we don't review that one. There's another out in the full. Right as we speak about it.
Kicked it in the same place it's been going out of bounds all day. So that's a dirty dozen. Fans up on the cyclone fence, taking photos of Mitch Hannon close up. Dogs break it away from the stoppage. They're able to kick it right to full forward and bounce it through for a goal. So the Dogs make a small chance from the stoppage, break it clear, and Bailey Dale, the camera wasn't on the play when they launched the shot at goal. It was still lingering on those crowd shots. So she's very hard to do under those circumstances. The kick-in came to Dunkley, who gave it back to Bailey Dale, and from 52 metres out,
it's a beautiful kick.
He's kicked the goal. So a long-range goal. Pumps it out to 44 points for the Dogs. The game-high lead, 13-15-93 to the Crows, 7-7-49 on the Victoria Police Supply Now scoreboard.
He's had a really good day too, Bailey Dale, and you see all of his strengths on show right there. His ability to hit the target, also his ability to run and carry and then finish from long range. It's probably the one thing that the Adelaide Crows lack in their team is just that half-back player that can run and carry and link up. They're very mechanical in how they exit their 50.
Such a good, quick ball through the air off the boot of Bailey Dale. Schomburg here will get the centre clearance for the Crows. Wide ball towards Fogarty, who can't quite get down and complete that mark. Bailey Dale was right there with him. Off hands, out of bounds. We'll have it tossed in. So live ladder, 60 points, the Bulldogs and the Cats, who are currently leading the Kangaroos, but very healthy percentage. 9% better for the Western Bulldogs. O'Brien. Dunkley in the middle of a Crows tackle from either side. McKay activated as the sub. Umpire tosses it back in again. Hannon, we're seeing the ruck against O'Brien. That's fascinating. Long ball inside. Fogarty's taken the mark. He had front position there on Easton Wood. It's a line-up for Adelaide.
He's shown some good signs. He had 3, I think he's kicked 1 goal too, is it? And he had one at the very start of the game that didn't quite make the goal square as well. So he's had 4 shots on goal. He's been really good today. So he's going to be a good player for them in the future, I think. It's going to be interesting how they fit him and Tex in the one forward line going forward, because a lot of similarities in the way they play.
Strong as an ox, Darcy Fogarty. 45 from home. Bit of left to right. I reckon he's measured that one almost beautifully and just clipped the post.
Get in.
Yeah, we're playing golf now. Get in.
You have to talk to the ball, Jared.
Yes.
Just like goal. If you don't talk to it, you're less likely.
43 points as a result. So for Victoria Police Supply now. The kick in found Daniel. Back to Dale, who lets fly from the defensive 50. Takes the territory around the wing. O'Brien against the flow, but he's been dragged off his kick. Garcia trying to pull it clear. He's got one arm pinned. The Crows are able to work it away. No, they're not. Bontempelli had something to say about that. He stripped the ball. Garcia to Ugle-Hagan up to half forward. Hannon flew. Waitman plays Crummer. Shocking kick towards the 50. Not adequately dealt with initially by Hamill. Then he's in the tackle. He's trying to get out. There's no way through. Has he been knocked off? I reckon he has. That's holding the ball.
Great follow-up from Waitman.
It was a terrific tackle, but geez, I think he's a bit stiff, isn't he, Hamill?
He's a tough little player. happytent.com.au. Waitman has a look deep. Will he give them a chance? He will. He hangs it up. Not well. O'Brien filling the hole. He probably is in the votes, you know, Lepper, the way that he's played, given how he's been required. Out to Kelly, who kicks it out the far side, and he'll bounce it out of bounds.
No influencing the judges, please, Jared. Between you two, with Daniel and Riley O'Brien.
You said it was a tough voting game, Lepper, so we're just throwing up a few suggestions. All that to come. Dogs by 43 points. Just over 7 minutes remaining on the Makita clock. We're all the outdoors. Berry trying to work his way through the traffic. O'Brien on hands and knees. Another touch. Flipped around in close. Dogs get it back in their hands. Liberatore to Daniel. Bruce couldn't quite complete the mark. He was charging at the footy. It was a low ball coming in. McKay taken down by Dunkley in the tackle. Hamill able to gather cleanly to Brodie Smith. Schomburg into traffic and away from it he runs. O'Brien, they've linked up nicely to Rowe at this stage. Wide ball in the end for Himmelberg. Doesn't favour him in the air and out of bounds for a throw-in.
Hadn't pushed over O'Brien again at the last stoppage. He's actually doing really well as the undersized ruck. He's obviously gone to the Sean Grigg School of Ruckman.
So Dogs top of the table. Good record in Ballarat continuing. Bruce to go up against O'Brien. McKay trying to extract a little kick. Laird able to free up the arms, only as far as McRae though. Great handball to Dunkley, to Daniel, to Garcia. Quickly inside forward 50, one out. Waitman got his way to the front. Who's front and centre? Hannon was trying to get there. Duday under pressure here for the Crows. The Smalls are sweating for the Dogs. Sputz trying to get out. Adelaide, little deflection. Garcia, they're hunting the footy here, the Bulldogs. Bontempelli from 50. Bontempelli for a little bit of cream on top. And they made it extremely hard for the Crows to exit the back 50, and the man you want the hand and the ball in the hands of just outside 50, Marcus Bontempelli. They stretch the margin now to 49 points on the Victoria Police scoreboard.
Not just the horns, but the church bells as well for Bont Slepper.
Well, he's had a quiet day, but cometh the moment, cometh the man. It was just a really bad handball error from Brodie Smith. Otherwise, the Crows themselves would have been away from centre-back part of the ground, and that's the second time in a row the Crows have turned the ball over just outside 50 in the middle of part of the ground. And when that happens, it's just such an easy possession back inside 50 for a score. And Marcus Bontempelli, what a class player he is. Only the 15 disposals, but that goal obviously was the moment for him today.
AFL Nation for Bendix, the best-known breaks, Athena Home Loans and Victoria Police Supply now. In Hobart, it's the Cats by 16. In Ballarat, it's the Dogs by 49. Hannon does a good job in the ruck again. Knocked it out to the side. McKay, though, for the Crows off the wing. Put it through Laird. Having a little touch was Schoenberg, and then breaking the line was Brodie Smith. He delivers them inside the 50, but it's cut off by English this time. So his turn to take an intercept mark. As we're inside the final 6 minutes on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock. He lags the kick out wide. Shacky ball in hand.
What do you thought of his game today, Jared Shacky? Has he continued his good work? What do you think?
He read the play well for the intercept marks. He's vulnerable in the one-on-ones, as you point out. So that's going to be the long-term conversation for when we get to the pointy ends. Kick found Scott, who takes the territory out near Bontempelli. He and Kelly go back against the boundary. Bontempelli's kept it alive. Kelly, though, recovers well. Gets onto the footy. Gives it away to McPherson. Didn't clear the area. Kicked it straight to Bailey Smith. Trying to find a way through. He does. The dancing steps to open things up. The long-range shot is out on the full. 13 out on the full. 13, Hutto. 49 points the Dogs lead. What about you, Lepper? So they'll clearly give him a set of games to see, especially while Keith's out.
Yeah, you just think they're projecting ahead. Tom McDonald, Ben Brown, and if he doesn't take one of those two, well, then it's a Fritsch, but you can't see him on that matchup. So I'd love to see him play against even a bigger opposition again.
So a kick in from the Crows was marked here by English.
Then you got Brisbane, you got Joe. Is he going to play on Joe? You know, they're the sorts of challenges for him that may eventuate.
It's a free kick. Is it downfield here, I think? Well, it's going to bring English all the way.
He's laughing. He's getting a free shot on goal, isn't he?
Well, it's coming back. Yeah, all the way down. Waitman was shoved. You see that on the replay. So it'll be a Waitman free kick.
I think if any annoying young forward pockets comes at you to bump you, I think you should be allowed to throw them out the way.
I thought you might say that. So Waitman here, little gift for him, directly in front, steers it through. So Cody Waitman joins a long list of goal kickers for the Western Bulldogs today. And those horns are at full blast right now. 15-15, 105. The Crows, 7-8-50. Victoria Police supplying our scoreboard.
There was a bit of dwarf tossing to that.
There was a little bit of that. It's a classic cheeky forwards goal, that one. Annoy the big bloke and he throws you out of the way and the umpire sees it. So he's got a bit of that about him, hasn't he, Cody Waitman? He plays the game within the game. He's not just a good, talented footballer, but he senses the occasion. He knows how to get under the skin of the opposition. Just like his predecessor, old Flea Waitman. I saw Flea Waitman actually coming in today. I was sitting there at the coffee shop. So, g'day, Flea. Great man he is.
Justin Lepage for car sales, everything you ought to know. 55 points. So this is starting to reach the magnitude of probably what you would have forecast, and the way that it has unfolded, the Dogs will be well pleased with some of their work now. It's a percentage boost at the top. 15-15 to 7-8 inside. Or 4.5 minutes to play. Nothing effective out of the ruck work. Laird with a hand pass defensively. He's muscled off the footy. McRae as a result with a hand pass which went forward, but only as far as Brodie Smith to Laird. He missed O'Brien on the way past. O'Brien, though, goes and wins his own footy. Hand passed it forward to Lynch. This is the Crows out on the wing. Inboard to Brodie Smith, who brought it to Laird via McPherson. Kick up to full forward. Up went Murphy. No mark. Walker underneath, tried to barge through. Got stopped. How the umpires see it. I imagine it's holding the ball. He certainly tried to plough through the pack and was stopped in his tracks. So the Dogs through Cordy. Out to English. Both ruckman's stats are going to look okay at the end of the day. English has hand passed near Dale. He can't get away from Seedsman. Has to hand pass in a hurry. Murphy in underneath for the Crows. English the other way. Ended up with the footy. They pile in. Fogarty lays the tackle. It'll be balled up at left half forward for the Crows as we tick down on AFL Nation for Bendix. The best known breaks for Athena Home Loans and for Victoria. Please supply now.
So umpire reloads again. O'Brien just took it out of the ruck. Got on the boot quickly inside 50. Bailey Williams able to mark Daniel. Close to the boundary line. He just hooks it across his body. Just a high up and under. Flying there was Anthony Scott. He got the fair piece of it. Ball ends up in his hands. He's locked up with O'Brien in the tackle. And it will be an Anthony Scott ball at half-back, who takes the mark. He's been pretty solid off half-back. Norton direction. Butts right there with him. Just through the legs of Murray. Butts at ground level. Umpire's blown a whistle here. It'll come back. A little bit of contact on Nick Murray. They'll just send it short to McPherson. So they come across their defensive goal. Bit of space for Duday. Now Bruce accelerates to give chase. Duday long. There's another one. Add that to the list. They've out of bounds on the full. That man's had some work to do with the beanie on the far side. He's been put out there for a reason today. That one's official. Ball in the hands of Shacky. He'll send it out of bounds on the full.
Oh, wow.
14.
15 now.
15.
Yeah, up to 15. Gosh. So that man's earning his keep out there. So 55 points of lead for the Dogs here. Just over 2 minutes remaining. They've got this one in the bag. Cats lead North Melbourne by 11 points. Third quarter action for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
So the Crows out of half-back. A long ball which hangs into the breeze. Berry had a fly at the pack. Dunkley works away underneath. The ball is under them somewhere, and the umpire will call it a stalemate.
I coached the game as the Lions we played at Adelaide Oval. We did 12 personally in the one game out in the Fulls for Brisbane. So it is a difficult ground because it's skinnier Adelaide than the Gabba, but 12 in one game.
Liberatore under the ruckman. He works it up to Johannesson. Hand pass to Dunkley. Pumps it forward to the play. Try to create something. Seedsman did enough in defence to nudge it at least away from the danger area. The kick trickles away to Murphy. He gives it to Brodie Smith, back to Seedsman. Brodie Smith's not going to get it back because Seedsman's hand pass missed the target and it bounces out of play.
Did you stay seated, Leper, for all of those, or did you have to do some pacing at the back of the box?
Well, you start laughing by the end. You actually doing what we're doing today, you start counting them by the end.
Yes, lucky it's only the amateurs at Ballarat. You couldn't imagine the professionals doing this, could you? Have to throw in. O'Brien wins the tap down to the front. Taken by Berry. Bounces it out to half-back. It was initially there for Dale, but all he did was knock it up to Keys, who gave it to Sloan. Kicks it up the line for the Crows. Fogarty onto the bouncing ball. Turns and kicks it for Tex, who's got the one-on-one, and he marks in front of Shacky. So that's the clip when you sit there and look at it. Shacky beaten soundly one-on-one by Tex, and then you forecast. Okay, so qualifying final night, preliminary final night, how do we measure that? And that's ultimately whether he'll be there or not.
A lot of that's about the early prep work as well. Get your hands dirty before the actual ball comes in, so when it does, you're actually owning best position. So that'll be his growth.
Tex stabs through his second goal of the final term. And the margin returns to 49 points. 8-8, 56 Adelaide, 15-15. That's the Bulldogs' total of 105. Inside the final minute of this, the Victoria Police is recruiting now. Search Police Careers scoreboard.
There's a lot of guys playing for spots, aren't they, for Dogs? So it's really important. With Treloar back next week, maybe the week after, Steph Martin 3 weeks, will they go with 2 rucks? We've seen what they've done today with the pinch hitting rucks as well. Will Luke Beveridge like the look of that or not? I think he might want a second ruckman in there. Jureo Keith out of the team. So that, if you're a Scott or Garcia, Shacky, you got to put your best foot forward, don't you, in the next few weeks to give yourselves a chance, because most likely all those boys will come back and come into the team.
No doubt. It's a great position for the Dogs to be in heading towards September. And they're going to march on to a big win here. Top of the table. They'll keep that spot as Keys goes inside forward 50. Tackled immediately. It was Sloan. Murphy trying to run into the footy. Schomburg trying to get over the top to Rowe. Dale getting in his path, trying to track this one towards the boundary line. McHenry spins him in the tackle, and then Bailey Williams is taken over the boundary line as the Crows are deep right next to that right point post. We'll have a toss back in. So, last rights here. Cordy, front position on Walker. And the pack will form here. Dale trying to feed a little handball out. Taken by Bailey Smith, who's had a good day numbers-wise. He tumbles the ball towards the wing. Mark taken here by Brodie Smith. Dogs will be top of the table. They'll keep that spot. Another win for them in Ballarat. They get it done in convincing, emphatic fashion. 15-15, 105. The Horns at full tilt now. The Crows, have a listen to them. 8-8, 56. Dogs get it done.
So proper provincial football. They're locked outside the Cyclone gates at Mars, but they found a way to be part of it, varying fans in the Ballarat area. The Dogs led it pretty much all day after conceding the first couple of goals. They led it every change at least. 12 at quarter time, 35 and at half and three-quarter time, and 49 at the close. The final score, 15-15, 105 to the Crows, 8-8-56. A spread of goal kickers, 2 for Bruce, Ugelhagen and Johannesson. There were singles to Bontempelli, Hunter, Waitman, Liberatore, Dale, Norton, Daniel, Garcia and English. Well, for the Crows, 2 each for Taylor Walker and Elliot Himmelberg. And there's 1 for Murphy, Lynch, Rowe and Fogarty. 49 points, the Dogs. They move to 60 points on the table. So 15 wins and 4 losses with 3 to play for the Dogs. 49-point winners over the Crows. What do you think, Justin Lepridge?
Well, it probably shows where both teams are at. I thought it was a really great contested game, and I think it shows that the Western Bulldogs are a great contested team, but they're also a great team on the outside in the spread. Their hands are elite. Adelaide, to me, are really, I call them, they're a try-hard team. They really are. They do try their best through most of the game, but they do lack the class. Anytime, and we sort of loathed a little bit throughout the game where they weren't trying to take the game on, but in the last quarter, they tried to by hands, and they mucked them both up for an automatic goal back the other way. So whenever people say to coaches, geez, take the game on some more, and the minute you try and do it, that's when the mistakes start to happen. So they're playing that fine balance at the moment because they don't have the experience or class of the teams around them. So they'll need another off-season of practice and training and getting more connection within their group because they're just not quite got that part. But their effort's good, I think, with Adelaide, but definitely not up to the standard of a team like the Western Bulldogs. 49-point winners, the Dogs, around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Late in the third term in Hobart, it's the Cats by 11 points. 6-11-47 to North Melbourne, 5-6-36. Luke Beveridge is standing in the back of the coach's box. He's having a look at the sheets. He'll be thinking about how he feels about it all. A 49-point win. What would he's got a lot. You make a lovely point. He's got a lot of moving parts. He's got a lot of decisions. And he's a moving parts coach. Yes.
It doesn't scare him. In fact, he's moving most of the parts to have it fluid. He's got a set of decisions that are looming 3 weeks away. And I guess a lot of this is just assessing each one. Okay, even the move of Anthony Scott from forward to back later in the season.
Yeah.
So he's trying a whole lot of different things at the moment.
And that's what I think is a good thing about Bevo. Some people say coming in and out of the team can create a little bit of inconsistency, which it can at times, but it's finding that right balance between finding what your best team looks like, and they're doing that. Obviously, Shaky's going to have to play this role for a few weeks. I think there's 3 or 4 weeks before Keith is back in this team, so pretty much right on finals. Same with Steph Martin. So that's going to be his big decision. Do I have a Keith that comes off 4 weeks directly straight back into a final? A Steph Martin straight off a long layoff straight into a big final. So he's got that's going to become when their big decisions are going to make. So all these boys just have to build evidence through that time. So again, Treloar may be back this week, maybe the next coming. Drea rested, be back in the team. So yeah, so it's going to be a really difficult time for him. But they're good problems to have, as coaches would say, is picking a team because good players are coming back in.
And I think that's his creative way. He clearly likes it.
Yeah.
He clearly draws on it. It's a dynamic that he likes within his player group. It challenges his coaching mind.
Yep.
And he might. So there's this notion as it's time for the Bulldogs to settle. He's not settling.
He's not a settler. He's a fiddler.
Yep.
He's not a settler. He's a fiddler. So what I mean by that in the greatest respect is the fact that he'll trial things. He's not scared to trial things. Go, you were okay. Most coaches will go, you know what, I'm going to stick with you this week, mate. You know, I'm going to support you and give you everything I can. He'll just go, oh, no, go back to the VFL. We'll try someone else. Yep. He's happy to do it.
Yep. Here's the Dogs in the rooms. Fifteenth time this season, the Dogs are top of the table. They'll be there at the end of round 20. It's just going to be an eventful round 20. It's a stacked day tomorrow. Didn't need a lot from Bontempelli today, so that's a nice aspect.
Yep.
It also means for a bit of Brownlow forecasting, though, that there are no votes today, so we think it's going to be a tight count, and Walsh was super last night, so for Bontempelli, this is going to be a no-vote round.
Well, he plays best with electric ball movement, and a sort of a slow, repeat stoppage sort of day isn't what the Bont is built for most of the time. If there was the odd breakaway, that'd suit him, but there wasn't even much of that today. So, you know, it's funny with footy, isn't it? You think as good a player as Marcus Bontempelli is, it just, even a day like this couldn't suit even as good a player as him. So, ugly old day, ugly old result, but I think if you're a Doggy supporter, you take it.
So every team, Lepper, we keep all year, you know, we talked about Melbourne, then we sing the praises of Geelong, then we sing the praises of the Bulldogs, and we talk about their strengths, and they've all got their little issues to sort out. So none of them are totally perfect, whether it's Geelong trying to sort out their ruck stocks, Bulldogs down back, are they going to be strong enough, and Melbourne just, you know, ball movement and the forward 50 sort of setup. Who's in the best spot, do you think, out of those three that could cover a weakness better than the others?
I don't know, to be perfect. I actually think they all play, and we spoke about this a little bit on Tuesday, Jared, about they all play different styles to me.
Yep.
The Bulldogs are so dynamic around the ball, and they're going to add to that when Treloar gets back. Melbourne are so strong defensively. They're really hard to crack. But the teams that have cracked them, then they can't power back the other way offensively because they can't score as quickly as they can defend. The Doggies have proven if you pressure up and pressure up and pressure up, the teams that have got them, their handball game struggles and they fall away. So everyone, and Geelong, to me, is just a matter of can they get it done at the right time of year, because they tend to have all the parts covered, Geelong, in my opinion, and they've got great variation in their team and they can change things up quickly. But is that enough on grand final day to blunt the strengths of the other two? So what I'm basically saying is I wouldn't know. You put all that together, one day, who knows, the dynamic veteran team like Geelong could outdo the mass defence of Melbourne, and the high handball game of the Western Bulldogs could flick their way through Geelong and make them look silly and old and all those sorts of things. I couldn't tell you. It'll really depend on the best team on that day that gets the game on their terms for the longest.
Yep.
It's a rather thrilling prospect at the end of the season,
fantastic.
isn't it?
Yeah, you'd rather go into that than Richmond and go, it's going to be Richmond, or maybe something could happen on the day that might fluke it back the other way. You've got three genuine styles that could go any way on any particular day.
The Dogs by 49 points over the Crows in Ballarat, 15-15, 105 to the Crows, 8-8, 56. It is three-quarter time in Hobart. Geelong by 11 points. So North Melbourne dogged as ever, 6-11, 47 the Cats, 5-6, 36 North Melbourne. It has been an eventful day. The AFL has got all of its teams out of Queensland. A snap lockdown was called just before 11 o'clock. Enough planes to get all the teams out before 4 o'clock, which was the lockdown time. And Melbourne, who were just arriving in Queensland, sat on the tarmac, stayed in the plane and returned to Melbourne. So this is what it's going to look like tomorrow. The early start, 12:10, Gold Coast and Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. 2:10, Hawthorn and Brisbane from Launceston. 3:10, Essendon and Sydney at the MCG. 5:10, Fremantle and Richmond at Optus Stadium. And 6:10, the Giants and Port Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. So a remarkable Sunday in store. The AFL again's done a sterling job to move the troops, militarise at a moment's notice. They've beaten the lockdown. So that's the Sunday of footy. We'll tidy up soon.